Do you want to learn how to play your favorite song on the piano, but you don't know what the chords are, and that makes you really sad? Let me turn your frown upside down. I got what you need. Welcome to my channel. Name is House of Jazz, the piano tutorial. Man. What's good, everybody? Thank you so much for joining. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. And don't worry, you will not have just my big old head to look at tonight. We definitely have the entire panel filled up with people ready to run their mouths. That's what we love to do. So let me bring up my lovely co-host. Display name. All right. And then we're going to also bring up someone that we see all the time on here that always love to crack jokes on me. Schroeder. And next we want to bring up another usual one that we see all the time. Brandy.
Oh, I'm mad at that.
As you can see, yeah, everybody say hi to Brandy. Come on, there we go. Everybody say hi to. For those of you who don't know why we're doing this, just don't worry about it. And then we're going to bring up Quay. What's going on, sir? Quay, and then last but not least, we got Andrea. So how is everyone doing this evening?
Pretty good.
All right. All of y'all staying Rona free?
Yep.
We're trying.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. Well, let's see who we have in the chat room. Applause. Oh, we got people applause, giving y'all applause. Okay, that's what's up. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Yeah, applause. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Okay, we got now. I don't want to mispronounce. Well, I can say your last name. We'll say Nathan, from South Africa. How you doing?
Looks like we're waiting.
And we got Sir Ron. Although this ain't the exact same Ron. Okay, but we have Ron Banks. You want me to teach you something good today, huh? Okay, I'm gonna teach you how to play middle C on the piano. I'm gonna teach you where middle C is and say, hey, this is C. That's going to be the lesson for today. We got Gerald. Hello from New Jersey. What's going on, Gerald? Thank you for showing up. Just in case you don't know, if you do not say something to us in the chat room, we will not know that you are there. So just make sure that you come in and say hi to us real quick.
Looks like it's 10 people in the chat. You guys, make sure to hit the thumbs up.
Please, thank you. Definitely
to the people's timelines.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. The more thumbs up we get, the more that YouTube will probably promote the video, and maybe more people might join us. You know what I'm saying? And that definitely helps the growth of the channel too, as well. We got Gregory Jackson. What's good to you, sir?
Hey,
thank you so much.
Hey.
You got a microphone in front. Is that a microphone? Oh, I thought that was a microphone. I was gonna say, what are you, a singer or something, man? About to say, you gonna come up on here and sing a little something for us?
Oh, he play and he works out.
Oh, well, I work out too. You know what I'm saying? Every time I take that food and go like that.
The upper body.
Oh yeah, upper body workout all the time. That's my problem. As a matter of fact, I work out too much. That's my problem.
Yeah, you run that mouth too much too.
Oh, there we go. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? Schroeder. Oh, that's never mind. That's Brandy. I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. I did the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, see. I play with all mine.
Hey, I play with all my fingers too. Y'all see my fingers more than anybody on this panel. Y'all feel how I use my fingers on the piano. So hey. Oh, she said don't start with it. Okay. All right. So I think we got our hellos in. Looks like everybody's cool. So again, welcome, man. We want to kind of go back and piggyback off of yesterday's discussion a little bit, and then move on to some new stuff today. So we have some people that are on the panel now that was not on the panel yesterday, and I would just so much want to hear their opinions on secular music in the church. I'm gonna start with display name to my right. Is there anything? Well, what's your thoughts?
Well, before I get my thoughts, just know that Gregory Jackson, he is willing to come on the panel. And he said he has his keyboard on his truck. So I think he's going to sing something for us. And I know Drea's going to sing a little later. So we got a couple of performances coming up. So that would be good.
Okay.
Maybe we could send him the link. Gregory, if you send Jazz an email.
Yes, you have to send the email to me, which is spell my name exactly the way you see it right here. Just like that. And put at yahoo.com.
Yeah, send him an email and he's going to attach a link for you. And it's super easy to come on. You can use your phone. I don't know if you have any issues with it, but you can use your phone if you don't have a computer available.
Okay, but you do get better results with a computer.
Absolutely.
A lot of times, yeah, definitely. Sometimes people use tablets and phones, and sometimes there's issues. But if you have a laptop or a computer, definitely go with that.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from you. So my take on the secular music, so the video, I don't know if you showed it yesterday, the video with
did just a little snippet.
Okay, so I got to see all of that. And while I was cracking up laughing the entire time, because obviously that was the gist of what they wanted to deliver, was a comical video, kind of light. And I can see both spectrums, why somebody would be upset and why certain people would say lighten up, So in that aspect, you kind of got to see where do you fall. Christopher, you are late.
I know, man. Christopher, you've been late for a while, man. I don't know what's going on with you.
I'm curious with let's see, what's his name? Ruwain Nathan. What time is it over there? Because he said he's over there in Africa.
South Africa, yeah.
South Africa. Okay, my son, he know all that time stuff. But I'm kind of on the fence. I have a great sense of humor. I like to believe that I like to see where people are going with certain jokes, but then even when it crosses the line, I'm like, you can't force anybody to see your viewpoint on where something crosses the line. So even if it's secular music or we're doing dance routines and changing the beat up, and while you could easily say, you're crossing the line once you start body rolling or doing some other little extra she looked back at it, that's subjective to the person. So while that might be too much for me, them clapping their hands too much and doing this with some shoulder action might be too much for, Sister Teresa in the choir. She might have a problem with that. So you just got to kind of understand that people are not going to have the same viewpoint as you. They're going to have, their boundaries are going to be different. I mean, 10 years ago, I probably would have been in the video with them. Now I'm just sitting back like, oh Lord, y'all know y'all gonna get it. And then 10 years from now, I'm gonna probably be like, the Bible says, we're about to do it. So it's different stages. We just gotta, understand everybody's growth and their walk and their progression, and go from there.
Okay, so you would have been in that video too. For those of you who don't know, it's a video. I guess if you type in "never would have made it" challenge.
Yeah.
I think that's what you type. If you type that in on YouTube, it's less than 2 minutes. It's interesting. I'll just leave it at that. So that's the video that I'm not going to play it tonight, but I did play little snippets of it on yesterday's stream, and we kind of let off on that video. So y'all just heard Sabrina said that she would be in the video with them doing all the twerking. I mean, no, they weren't twerking in the video, but
10 years ago, I would have been in the video, would have produced it and all that, just choreographing it. But like I said, now it's more like I'm sitting back, like, oh, y'all kind of push the envelope a little bit. But and not to make it about having controversy on that video, because a lot of songs are being used in that way, and so a lot of times we'll take a beat down and make it into a song for church. So even then, it still has a little secular tone to it. It could be misleading. It's so many areas on that's gray for me that I'm like, I wouldn't even touch it. I'd rather play on the side of caution. But
okay, so when it comes to them trying to change lyrics to a song that already exists, you said you're kind of gray in that.
Yeah, even stuff like Love. Remember Music Soul Child did Love, and then they redid it for church.
Yeah, Trinity 5-7 re-recorded the song. They sure enough did. Yeah, which was a gospel group through trio or whatever.
Right, but I mean, and again, having that underlying meaning of where the song came from, and then trying to make it's almost as if we're allowing that gateway for that foot, for somebody to step in, and again, if you have one where it has the beat, you're naturally remembering where that beat came from, and if it's not a song from the Lord, I mean, and that really again, it depends on the person and where they're at with their walk as to whether or not they're hearing, oh, that's that beat to whatever. And then next thing you know, the audience, the congregation is doing this while other people are like, oh, that song is beautiful. So it's again subjected to each person and how they receive it. So again, I'm still at that stage where I would be probably dancing and rocking to it and like, oh, hey. And so I still need to walk a little further. I need to keep walking through my walk.
I mean, hey, I think that's all of us. We always have to, we have our walk until we die. You know what I'm saying? We always got to, work on our walk until we die. And then once we die, we can just praise God forever. Okay. So, D, did you want to kind of piggyback on what your thoughts were yesterday before we go down to the ones on the bottom? Actually, it's funny all y'all on the bottom like that. I didn't do that on purpose, but none of y'all had a chance to speak yesterday. So we'll go to you after we go from D.
I'm just still, like I said yesterday, just, I mean, like I said yesterday, I mean, I have taken some and rewrote it to, gospel. But they were, to me, I believe they was very tasteful, not nothing that we got somewhere, it was, it was tasteful.
Y'all should hear what she did to Just My Imagination on the live stream yesterday. That's why I started playing the bass line because she had changed it. Do you remember the words?
Yes, I remember the words.
That you did. I mean,
see, Drake is moving. Look at her. She took it back to this.
Each day in my window, and then, but you didn't say all that. How was the hook again? Can you tell us what the hook was?
See, if you hadn't started saying that, I would have remembered.
Oh, it's always my fault with D. Okay.
Yeah, you always running that hole in your mouth. And
okay, next live stream, I'm just going to come up and just sit quietly and just go.
Oh, no.
The whole live stream, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to come up. You know what? It's going to be just like this. Check this out. It's going to be.
Is that Sugar Mama? Hey, Sugar Mama. Hold on.
Look at you over there with all that.
I'm going to be like that the whole time. Just pop up. I'm just saying,
it's I thank the Lord for my salvation.
Hey.
And washing away my sins. He's my strength and I praise him with everything deep within. Yeah.
Now y'all remember D always keep telling us that she can't sing. I'm so glad she did that again because she always said I can't. One note. All I can do is one note.
She can sing.
Yeah. I'm so glad I was able to put that out there again. But okay. What's your thoughts, man? Secular music, man. Inside the church.
Okay, so here's my thought on it. It can be done like those mashups, like music and even that last one. Just certain things can be mashed up into secular. I'm sorry, to worship music or church music. The only problem I got with that never would have made a song, and I think I typed you I inboxed you and told you with that song, the beat is generated by a bed squeaking. So in my head, from first hearing the video and watching the beat, I'm hearing that bed squeaking. So church members might not know what that's going on, but it's distracting me because I'm like, I'm hearing the bed. That's the whole, but that little squeak. That's actually a bed. That's a bed squeaking. So that's kind of different in that aspect of them turning that song into it because it was, and the words, the lyrics are really terrible. But the lyrics and like I said, it was a song back in the day. I was probably jamming out to in the club before. But you know what I'm saying, to try to take that and to put it in the church when I'm hearing that bed squeaking, I just can't do it. But you can turn you can turn a non into a worship song. And the way I say that is because Brian McKnight, he has a song on one of his albums. I forgot what album it's called, Home. And when you hear it, it's actually when you first hear it, it sounds like you're talking about a woman. Because you're talking about, thinking back, you never leave me till we first met. But then the next verse, you realize he's talking about God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So songs are interchangeable, but this is a song called Brian Knight Home. Actually, I implore everybody, if y'all haven't heard it, it's a pretty good song by Brian Knight. One of my favorite, like, I guess, worship song by Brian Knight. But you can do it. Like I said, it just depends. Like I said, you can't take the whole effect of it, of the song. You got to take some certain things out. Like, I think that would have made, I don't know how you could take the bed squeaking part out, but I think you can do it with certain songs. It's case by case scenario, you know. I'm not opposed to it, but like I said, the song that DJ sang, just my imagination run. I mean, that's good. That's a good song. I saw nothing wrong with that. And like I said, music, the song was good too. So
Okay. All right. That's your take on it.
yep.
Miss Drea, what's your take?
So if we're talking about just that particular video, I didn't really have a problem with the video per se. It wasn't necessarily my taste. It looked like it was just something that was meant to connect with a younger audience.
Okay.
I didn't have any kind of reaction to it one way or the other. So then I don't like to say good and evil. I just, I didn't have an issue with it. I didn't
Okay.
and I didn't feel the spirit react to it in any kind of negative way. As far as turning secular into sacred music, again, I really don't have a problem with it. I think my biggest issue is the fact that there is a dichotomy between secular and sacred. I know historically where that came from, but I think that it should be challenged. I think what separates sacred from secular is whether or not the music is, glorifying God or not. And a lot of times the line of demarcation in terms of what glorifies God is whether the music involves any kind of sexuality in it or not. So, I mean, typically church music, you're not going to have any sexual innuendos at all, like anything that mentions the idea of sexuality or romance or anything like that. They're going to say, well, that's worldly. But my whole thing is, who created sex? So if God created sex, then I can't look at every single secular song and be like, oh, that's a worldly song. There are some secular songs that speak more of Christ to me than most gospel songs. There's a lot of gospel
Especially
music out
today's
there
music. Yeah.
that is absolute rubbish. It is not of God at all. And there's plenty of secular songs that I hear God in. I'm not coming up with any examples right now. I can if you ask me to, but my general.
Well, what's your thought on Love by Music Soul Child?
Say what now?
What's your thought on Love by Music Soul Child? Would that be a song that you probably would see more
Yeah, I mean, that
God
song,
in than some of the gospel stuff?
I remember Trinity 5-7 remade that song, and my point was there was no need for them to change the word in order for it to be a godly song. That song is godly through and through. Like you don't have to say God in order for a song to glorify God. But I know they did that for commercial reasons, but from a philosophical standpoint, I can touch God just as easily listening to his version. But that's just me. I know that everybody is raised different. Everybody has a different perspective. And like Sabrina had mentioned, everybody's walk is different. So to me, I don't divide sacred and secular. I try to give everything an objective listen, if it's gospel or not. If it's a gospel song, I still listen objectively because lots of gospel songs talk about things that have absolutely nothing to do with God. And then, or talking about something that is about God or God-ish, but not actually glorifying God. And then on the other hand, there's secular songs that I listen to, and there's plenty that are out of the realms of, okay, I can't go there. But then there's other things that are really, I'm listening to it and it's good art. I mean, I follow Christ, but I also listen to certain rappers and things. And if you can get past the profanity, some people are actually sharing a message that's worth listening to. Or even if it's not the message of Christ, you can actually hear a message that they're sharing and at least look at the art that they're sharing and say, what is this about? And how do I respond to that? instead of saying, "Oh, that's the devil's music." You know, at one time, jazz was considered the devil's music,
Some people
but
still
now
consider
people
it.
don't.
Yeah. Some people still
Yeah.
consider jazz to be that. Yeah.
Somebody put a comment up that says God did create sex, but check the spirit and intent of the song. I appreciate PJ Morton, but won't play many of his songs in church. He's a great musician that played for churches for years. But again, and I respect his comment. What does in church mean? Are you talking about a church service? A church service is not church. That's not in the scripture. A church service is man-made. It comes from pagan traditions.
I agree.
So if we're talking about secular stuff, church service itself was something that was taken from pagan traditions and turned into a Christian practice, but it did not start out that way. So if we're going to throw away everything that's secular, then we have to throw away everything.
I've heard Andrea speak on this subject before on something on Facebook a year ago. So go ahead, keep it coming. Teach the truth. No, I've seen it. I remember. I watched it. I might not even commented, but I watched you talk about this before, and I agree with a lot of stuff you said.
About his comment, though, he said you have to check the spirit or the intent of the song, and I think that's the bottom line. But that's the bottom line with both sacred and secular music. I think PJ Morton is an example of somebody whose music is very godly. Now, I'm not going to play it in a church service, but a church service is not the church. The church is the people. And I think even with this pandemic, we're learning that church is not about a church service. The church is God's people, God's family. So everything that we do is supposed to bring glory to God. Instead of dividing into sacred and secular, let's check the spirit and the intent behind it in order to decide whether it's something that glorifies God or not. That's just my.
That's funny that you said that, because yesterday I was saying the same thing about the but not exactly the same thing, because I was saying that. Well, basically, I said you have to look at the spirit. Okay, speaking on taking a secular song and changing some words to make it Christian. On that note, talking about that, I was saying that you really got to be careful, because there's a lot of spirit in music. Just, it's very spiritual. Music is very spiritual. It could be evil spirits. It could be, godly spirits, and you have to be careful. So when you're dealing with stuff like that, you have to be careful of the intent of the original song, because sometimes just changing the word here and there does not take away the original spirit that was put into that song. I don't know if that's kind of what you were saying, but that's what I was saying yesterday.
I mean, that's deep stuff. That's above my pay grade. That's, you talking some deep stuff right there, and I can't negate that. That has not been my experience. Like, my group did a song that was like kind of it was a spinoff of. Wow, we have two of them. So we live in this realm. So one song that we did, we remade a song by Human League called "I'm Only Human."
Okay.
And the song is y'all, the premise of the song, this is an 80s hit, "I'm Only Human." The premise of the song is that the guy cheated on the girlfriend, and the song is basically saying, "Oh, please forgive me, honey, I'm only human," blah 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 blah. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis produced the song. Awesome song.
Those my boys.
And the song is about cheating and making up and all of that stuff, but the way that we rewrote it, it was a song where we're talking about it's not that you're only human, but inside of your human earthen vessel, there's a scripture that says there's a treasure in this earthen vessel. And it talks about Christ in you, the hope of glory. So we turn the song around to say, yeah, you're only human, but you have Christ in you, the hope of glory. So, I mean, somebody might hear that song and be like, oh, well, they took that song and that's a secular song. And I don't have no defense for it. I just wrote what God gave me. And if they can't receive it, then they can't receive it. But, the older I get, I'm less in the business of judging right and wrong. And I'm more in the business of listening for the Spirit of God and stuff. If I can hear the Spirit of God in it, if I can discern the Spirit of God in it,
right,
then I can't touch it. Even if it's something that's not in my taste or my flavor, then I can't say nothing about it. It's not for me. It might be for somebody else.
Okay. All right.
I mean, like I said last night, we rewrote to the Isley brother, Atlantis.
Yeah,
We
you
got
do.
to come back to you, and we've got the same music, and it starts it off. And but if you the words in it, it's like we go astray and we go out and we do our thing, but when we get it, the God come out, we're coming back to Him. It's about how you reword things and make it about, Lord, we know we stray from you, but we know that we can always come back to you. And we also took another song, Got It Right. I got it right this time when I came back to you. So, so we just take words and from what other people are done, and we make it, which it was already, if you look at it, it's already spiritual. You just take it and just make it what you can make it out of.
I mean, there's a little wisdom to it too, because there's some people who might take that old song that reference point for them might remind them of something in them, but hearing the new message there might help to reprogram their beliefs. It might help to reprogram, even though it's using the old song. Having a new message in that old song can sometimes help people to think about what they're listening to and think about the meaning of it.
Yeah. It's like I said last night too, I had rewrote to It's All Right to Praise the Lord. With who's that? Harold Mary and the Blue Notes saying it's all right to have a good time. Well, I just changed it's all right to praise the Lord. We did that, and everybody loved it, because you can have a good time praising the Lord in church.
Right.
Yeah, my only thing is, like I said, just the original intent of the song. Just be careful. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying how I how I approach it. Is just be careful of the original intent of the song, because that spirit may still be there. You know what I'm
There's
saying?
some songs that's overtly demonic. Okay. I'm not going to take a song that's overtly demonic.
Something from Two Live Crew, right? Yeah, you're not going to take a Two Live Crew song and try to make it. Yeah.
If it's evident to me, if I can discern in that song, or it's evident that song is not of God and is meant to glorify the enemy, then I'm not going to take that and try to glorify God with it. But I don't want to make that like a rule, because you don't know what God is going to do. I'm not going to say God moves in mysterious ways. God moves in unconventional ways. And a lot of times when people think that something isn't of God, God uses the things that's foolish of this world to confound the wise. So it's like something that I may think is not going to be of God. God may flip it over and be like, no, I'm using this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how God is going to move. I can only judge by the Spirit.
Right. And don't,
excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. Jeremiah wants to say hi to everybody.
Oh, yeah. What's going on?
Jeremiah.
Now, say what's up to Jeremiah. Jeremiah's probably going to be playing drums on this live stream soon.
Jeremiah, you got school tomorrow.
Yeah, what? So
you got school tomorrow. Go to bed.
I was getting ready to say, does he really have school tomorrow?
Okay, good. We'll talk about that.
Well, I think it goes a little bit too far when I seen that video where that girl was talking about drop it low for Jesus. Now that right there would,
that's what I'm talking about. But stuff like that, I'm talking. I don't even know what video you're talking about, but the fact that you just said,
I know
drop it low for Jesus, just the fact that you said that, I'm like,
and the crazy part about somebody opened up a church for them to do that in there. That drop it low for Jesus.
I'm sure some church
people inside of a church. Some church thought that was cool.
I'm sure that's the problem.
If they reach one person,
that's ignorant. Drop it low. That's ignorant. That's a perversion of everything. That's a perversion of everything that it means. You're not supposed to be necessarily dropping it low for nobody except for your husband or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, when something is perverted, then obviously you have to reject it. Some stuff is obvious.
But I ain't gonna lie, somebody came to the Lord that day. What if they brought in some people and they gave their life to Christ?
But we can only hope that they truly, really did give their life to Christ. How about that? Because everybody who says they give their life didn't.
What that means, like if somebody says come to Jesus because I'm dropping it low for Jesus, would they even understand what their salvation is about? They're just joining something, but they don't know what they're following. Again, I'm hesitant to judge unless I actually see it and discern it for myself.
Right.
I just, if somebody says they see something and it wasn't right, I'll take their word for it, but
okay.
I've seen a lot of stuff.
Okay, and I have some friends, some honest male friends that will say that they go to a church or they've joined a church because it was some beautiful women there and they dressed a certain way, and it was just like, man, they all got it going on, they all curvy and so they're saying all this, but guess what? After a while that might have brought them in there, but now that's not what's keeping them there in the church. You know what I mean? So now they're saved. That was what brought them to the church. No, they wouldn't. They would admit they wasn't saved at the moment, but later on, after hearing the word over and over. So whether somebody's dropping it like it's hot and it's like, hey, I got flyers out, I'm gonna be dropping it like it's hot at a church, and it brings in the kids and youth. I'm trying to justify this, Jazz.
I see that. You see my face, right, Sabrina?
I'm trying to help somebody. But,
I'm like, oh, come on now.
I like how Drea said it though. It's really you can't judge people, unless you're there in that moment. Because I've seen church services that I've been there. Who is it, Pastor John Gray? If you ever get to see Relentless online, and I've been at those services, and then I'll come back and watch the YouTube, and it still has hate comments. They shouldn't be playing that song in the church, and because they'll have a moment where John Gray, he is so cool, like he would have it where the musicians are playing a song, and next you know, it livens up the moment, and everybody's like laughing because he'll say something, and he directs it to his wife. It's just very light and friendly, and there's not anybody in there looking with like they're upset with their hands crossed, like what is he doing? There's probably a few. It's a lot of people at that church, but for the most part, you can hear the overwhelming like joy that moment brought, and then he'll go into the word, or he uses those moments to lighten everything up. Got it. But then you read the comment section, and everybody's like, they shouldn't have that in the church, and it's off of that snippet, and it's like you had to be there, like, and I would sit there and I'm always trying to consider, I hope he's not offended anybody. Like Jazz, you know me. Every time like you kind of bring up a conversation, I was like, we don't want to offend them. And even if everybody is agreeing with something, that would be my moment. And I know Dre, you think like that too, where it's like you kind of say, well, what if it's on the other foot? Let me not. Everybody can't be agreeing with somebody because somebody's in the comment sections just joined the church because somebody was dropping it like it's hot on the flyer. So we just never know unless we're there, unless we're put in that situation. But you're right, Dre. When you said there's songs that's gospel songs that ain't about the Lord, I was sitting here trying to think of one. I'm like, there was one where I'm like, what does that have to do with anything?
I could drop name after name after name.
One felt easy trying to be funny on my On Bended Knee song. I never said On Bended Knee was a Christian song, okay? I just said it was my favorite song. But go ahead.
That could be twisted though. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, On Bended Knee. I'm done.
Yeah, some songs I play at the church.
I'm sorry, Quay, go ahead.
I played a CCM church kind of, and there's one song I can't stand to play. I play it because I'm directed to play it, but there's one song called "Reckless Love." I don't like that song. I feel like it's not really it's not really to me made for the words and lyrics. Don't to me bring me to worship. You know what I'm saying? God and everything.
Is this supposed to be a religious song? You're saying?
Yeah, it's called "Reckless Love." Yeah, but some of that stuff, the words to me don't blend right to me because
what's the name of the song again?
It's called "Reckless Love" by.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, just check it out. But I'm playing it because I'm directed to by the Praise League team to play it. So I'll be up there playing and stuff. But I'm like, I don't be into it because So some songs, even that's supposed to be church, worship songs, church songs, to me don't draw somebody's spirit in that. It's all about how you interpret it.
Right.
Take a listen to it later on tonight and see if
Sabrina, you said you knew some of the words to it.
Yeah.
Just tell me what some of the lyrics are.
The overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it reaches. No. Oh, it leaves the 99. I couldn't hurt it. I didn't hurt it.
Okay, you don't know the words.
No, I do. I'm just trying to get to the part.
Okay.
No, it's just the main chorus is, oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God is. Yeah, Dre, feel free to overanalyze that voice.
No, I don't. I'm not.
Yeah, I've never heard it
the
before.
song.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I've
have?
never heard
I've
this
never heard of
song.
it
You
before.
won't hear it in the Baptist church.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna
agree
check it
with
out.
him.
Yeah.
I would listen to it in my headphones right now, but I don't want to disconnect myself from the conversation and be lost when I come back. So after the stream, you said "Reckless Love" and it's about who?
Corey something.
Somebody named Corey. Okay, all right.
Yes.
I'm gonna check that
You said
one out.
Corey Temple?
Corey. I got it's Corey something. Hold on, let me
He says Corey something is what he said.
let me find it right now for you.
Okay, "Reckless Love." Okay, I'm gonna have to check this one out.
It's
Any other?
different people that sings that song.
Oh, it's different people. Okay.
The main one is Corey. Hold on, Corey Asbury.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Corey
But
Asbury.
going back to what I was saying before about you have to be careful with some songs with just trying to change and just put Jesus' name in it. That was my point. When you whatever drop it for Jesus or whatever. That's what I'm talking about. You can't just take some songs and just say, okay, I'm just going to put Jesus in there and now the song is spiritual. You kind of prove my point right there. You kind of prove my point right there.
Obviously, a song's not spiritual just because you put the word Jesus or God in it.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, that's true across the board.
Right. But also want.
But here's my issue, though.
Okay.
My issue with the church, and I say this with humility, is that the church does not make space for and glorify the side of God that is sexual and sensual. God created sex, but with
Read the Song of Solomon for those who don't know. Read Song of Solomon.
The Song of Solomon is an erotic poem, and I'm not saying it doesn't have deeper spiritual meaning. Sex is a reflection of the intimacy between the divine and the human. The divine and the human is joined in Christ. When a man and a woman is married and they have sexual intercourse, that is a picture of the marriage between God and man.
That's scripture.
So the problem is that the church doesn't allow people to enjoy sex. The church has said dancing is a sin. Since when is dancing is a sin? I don't understand why dancing is a sin.
Especially when David danced, right?
Even some dances that are sexual in nature. I mean, and I know this is probably where I fall away from the flock a little bit. We tend to demonize things that are reflective of sex. Sex actually comes from God, and I think we do have to be careful about worshiping sex because that's called idolatry. But to look at sex and enjoy it and admire it as something that God created is not wrong. I don't restrict myself from listening to songs that are about sex. I mean, if it's glorifying debauchery, then obviously, if it's too ratchet, then that don't have nothing to do with God, obviously. But that's obvious to everybody. But it's plenty of songs out there that are just glorifying sex, love, and romance, and I really don't think that that's something that's separate from God, and I don't understand why the church's tendency has been to separate the two.
I agree because I'm not saying that every single song that's not a church song or whatever is demonic or wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that either. Like, I agree with you what you said with love. I probably love songs more than any other type of music in the world, including gospel.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree. And it's like, again, it's the spirit behind it, the intent of the song. That's what I meant when I said earlier. It's all about the intent. If a song is talking about simply being in love or loving the person that you're with, I mean, and then you can read the Song of Solomon in the Bible. It's like, okay, well, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So right. So yeah, that's what I meant by saying you gotta look at the intent of the what you say? What you say?
I said Song of Solomon gets, I'm not gonna say freaky, but
yeah, that's what he does. He does. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but I'm thinking about when you said freaky, I was thinking about Silk song, Let Me Lick You Up.
Oh man,
I'm like, would that be a Song of Solomon? And can you make that a Christian song?
That song, obviously, you're not gonna sing that in a church service.
Of course not.
But
save that for your honeymoon night or something. Yeah, there you go.
I guess. I mean, but a lot of people, and I also would not take that song and turn it into a worship song. But not because the song is evil. The song's not evil. It's just, I mean, if somebody does it successfully and they send me into worship with that, Again, I'm not judging it. I'm saying I wouldn't take that song and turn it into a gospel song.
Why Nathan say?
But that doesn't mean I don't like the song. Like, that's a dope song. I'm sorry.
Nathan said he would play PJ Morton. Did you see that? Enjoy his wife in the bedroom, but I'm not sure.
And not sure. Right. You don't want to hear Shirley Caesar if you're trying to set the mood right with your wife. Right, exactly. Because all she sings about is what's that song about that food? Cornbread and all that stuff. I don't want to hear that if I'm trying to set the mood, right? Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I don't want to hear a sexual song doing communion. Oh, yeah, exactly. Nate also said, I don't want to hear a sexual song doing communion. Exactly.
Y'all tripping.
Oh, no, 112DZ did not. No, 112DZ did not. He took the silk song. Let me praise you up. Okay, 112DZ. 112DZ.
Y'all wild, man.
I can't believe you did that.
You don't know what God's going to do. Thank you, 112. Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
Let me praise you up. And you know what? I have a tutorial on that song. Let me bring up those chords real quick. I do have a tutorial for it, but
I don't think that's blasphemous. I think that's hilarious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
But you let me praise you.
You need to get Brandy take on it.
That is definitely taking you back to the moment of. I would die laughing for sure. I would die laughing, but I'm like, come on, that's not praise and worship song.
So we need to get Brandy take on it. She haven't spoke on how.
Yeah, Brandy.
What you think?
Brandy over there rewriting the song now.
Yeah, she's let me praise you up and down. I'm sorry, go ahead. All right.
She's rewriting one of Nicki Minaj's songs now to play.
No, this is Minaj about.
I don't know.
That is not me.
Go ahead, Brandy. It's your turn.
Well, to be honest, I actually took one of R. Kelly's songs. And
oh my goodness!
I did put it to gospel.
R. Kelly, and we know what the intent behind some of his songs were.
I believe I can fly.
Oh, wait a minute, though. Which one was it, though? Because I mean,
which one was it? I don't know if y'all ever heard the song "Free Worshiper." I took that song and I took R. Kelly's song. What is it? Gotta get a beat in my head.
I believe I Can Fly been done in a gospel way.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the song in and of itself is just, it's a very encouraging song, but we didn't know what I guess I don't know what the origin of that particular song is, but with R. Kelly, my stance is definitely be careful with the intent of his music because yeah, and I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that with R. Kelly's music. Brandy, did you figure out what song
I don't listen to his music anymore myself because obviously, but R. Kelly comes from church. Like his R&B is a ripoff of gospel, and his music is the epitome of that. So it's not hard to take chords that he's written with.
Right.
Of course, right? Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? R. Kelly wrote gospel songs on some of his albums. At least one album. I know he wrote "Trade in My Life." So he's a gospel singer and he's a gospel writer. So again, that's another illustration of exactly what you was talking about, Richard. Like you got to watch the intent. But the dude was writing gospel.
Right.
Yeah, the song was I don't see nothing wrong with the little bump and grind.
Oh, okay. And you changed it.
I did.
I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
And you changed it to what? And what did you change it to?
Because it's another song about, I think it's about Vashawn Mitchell, if I'm not mistaken. It's called "Free Worshiper."
Okay, so how did you do it?
I took both of the songs. I took the words from Vashawn Mitchell and took R. Kelly's version of the song, the chords of the song, and I slowed it down and changed the key to Vashawn Mitchell's version, and I played it. And we went into worship, we went into worship the way I played it because I actually played it from my heart
Okay.
instead of what the meaning of the original song. And I still
Okay.
do that today, and I mean, it works. It works. It really does. And
But even that, Brandy, when you think about the progression in bump and grind, that's a gospel progression.
yeah, yeah.
Listen to that progression, y'all, in your
I'm
mind.
thinking about it now. Da da da
Bump
da
and
da
grind.
da 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 da. Yeah, yeah. Those are some. Yeah, yeah. Those are
He
gospel
took, so
chords.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like taking it back in a way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, I guess yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it's definitely yeah.
So I mean, it just works for me with that. And then you got to look at it too. Like if you listen to the Canton Spirituals, there's a song that Marvin Cease did before the Canton Spirituals did it, but the
Called
Canton
Clean Up.
yeah, clean up, and it's actually the same, almost the
Yeah.
same exact lyrics, and the chords are the exact same, and that's gospel. So I
Yeah.
think, I mean, it's just like what everybody has said. Like it just depends on how you portraying the message out there, and that's how I feel about it. Because it's a lot more songs that I actually do that I have gotten from secular music that I switched to gospel, and I've actually wrote to myself, and it works out with me. So I don't think it should be like no boundary in between that. To be honest. But
Okay.
I mean,
that hip hop
yeah.
stuff, yeah, that yeah.
Okay.
But then again,
If you take black music in particular and take it back a century or two, black music evolved from from slavery. So the music that evolved from that, I mean, from the field hollers and all of that, you got the blues and you got gospel. And back in those days, blues is the devil's music. But a lot of the chord progression used in traditional blues are now what
Mhm.
is used in
All
traditional
gospel.
gospel. So
Yeah.
it's just like within I can't speak for every type of style of music, but black music, which is the foundation of all American music, there's a crossover between anything and I'm talking chord structures and chord progressions and things like that. There's always been a crossover and always been a borrowing back and forth between blues and gospel, rock and roll, jazz, R&B, and gospel. It's always been a borrowing because number one, a lot of the best musicians out there came out of the church. So, I mean, again, it's like you got to be discerning about that stuff. It just takes discernment,
and I wouldn't even discount rap because at some point people didn't think rap and gospel went, and then now you got artists like Canton Jones. I love his music. Like when he did "I'm About 5 Seconds," I mean, just to see him perform, the youth just go crazy, and it's electrifying. So a lot of people would still say they shouldn't be rapping. That's rapping. But if they listen to it, like you said, if a song has a message, it don't get lost in what's being done. Just listen to the message. What is it got? Joyner Lucas Joyner. Am I messing his name up? He's a rapper, and he curses and everything like that. But Joyner is so talented. Like if you listen to his music, it's so deep, and it's like wow, it is powerful. And my daughter I kind of listened to one of her songs when she was playing it. One of his songs when she was playing it. And I was like, oh my goodness. And now I'm following him on Instagram and all this other, well, not on Instagram, YouTube. I got rid of my Instagram. But it's like just to see somebody just pour their heart out and give that to the world. And it's like, that's an art. So you got to respect it and just kind of, somebody has to break that boundary. And rap has finally been broken and now it's part of the gospel.
Yesterday I did kind of mention when it comes to genres of music, my thought about that was simply you can't really go by just simply a style or genre of music because almost every style of music at some point was considered secular, including, if I'm not mistaken, including hymns. Like the way if you open up a hymn book, like the way that I'm not even talking about the hymns that we sing in a quote unquote urban way or the black way. I'm talking about the way they were written in the hymn book. there was a time when that was considered secular too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know if we can really define what gospel music is supposed to sound like. If you're in Jamaica, obviously the music that's in Jamaica is going to sound different, you know what I'm saying, than how our music here sounds. So I've never really gotten to the genre of music being okay, well, gospel music is supposed to sound like this. I'm like, I honestly don't know what gospel music is supposed to sound like. Quote unquote true gospel. So including rap, including so that includes rap too. I don't go by with the genre as much as I just look at the spiritual intent behind it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if someone, I'm not into reggae music and all that like that. It's like that's not something that I go listen to all the time. I have nothing against it, but it's just not something that I'm going to. If I'm going to pop on a song, I'm gonna pop on some '90s R&B. You know, that's just the stuff I like to listen to. But just because I don't necessarily listen to reggae music like that, I'm not going to say, "Oh, their music is not gospel. That's demonic."
Right.
I'm not going to say that just because of the genre and the style. No, because music is there's only 12 notes in music. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you can take it and do so much with those 12 notes. You can't just I try not to get into that because there was a time when, like Sabrina said, rap in the church, holy hip hop, and all that stuff, you know, and I guess I still kind of have something against using the term holy hip hop, but
I never heard that.
holy hip. Oh yeah, there's that was a term. I'm with the only reason why I might have a problem with that term, holy hip hop, is because hip hop in and of itself is almost its own religion. If I'm not mistaken, it's KRS-One and maybe some other people have they've written a Bible about hip hop, and you know, it's so
Right.
hip hop has its own Bible and stuff. So that's why I'm saying the term saying holy hip hop is like, well, don't try to put God into something that He's not really in. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm not talking about rapping. I'm so because if
Right. I
those
get
of you who don't know the difference, hip hop and rap is two different things. Hip hop is a culture and a life. Now, is rap a part of hip hop? Sure. But it's not hip hop is not just rap. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop goes beyond just the stuff. So the rapping, no, I don't have an issue with it. But saying holy hip hop, I might, you know, be like, I don't like that. But you know, but I digress.
Yeah. No, I understand completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a chance to go and go to a Ethiopian church, and it was an Ethiopian and it was an African church as well, but it was two separate times, and didn't know any of the music. And matter of fact, the preacher that I was there with, he preached and then somebody translated. But I'm going back to when they were worshiping, and you didn't know the words to what they were singing, but you sing everybody worshiping. And in that moment, I don't know that they was playing the tune, the bump and grind in their language or something. You know what I'm saying? But it was just, I'm sorry. I really
Come
can't.
on, Sabrina, you know.
I know it wasn't. No, but I'm saying it could have been a remix song. It could have been a remix song that they remixed into a worship song. I don't know that. And so, of course, I'm there and I'm trying. I'm like, Lord, I got to get into the moment.
You know,
I did. And I did because what you're concentrating on and what you're focused on in that moment. So I don't know if it was a remix song that they, in their language, that they just remixed, but it was a beautiful worship experience both times. And just the fact that I didn't understand what they were saying during their moment of worship, it was beautiful. So I think we don't want to lose those moments where it's like be in the moment and let it just be about you and God, if that's what you're trying to experience. But if you're focused on like, oh, that sound like the beat to whatever, then you there for the wrong reason. You know, those were the chords that they used in this. Then what, you know, just you gotta stop.
There are no new chords out there, so that it's like that's why I'm saying it's kind of silly to talk about genre of music because there's only 12 notes and there's only it seems like it's unlimited, but technically it's only a limited way that you can combine those notes to make different chords. You know what I'm saying? So to say, okay, this is demonic, this isn't, I'm like, you can't just go by the sound of the music and that's it. That's just how I feel about it.
But you're saying there's a spiritual principle behind some music.
The intent of the composer,
right?
And the writer and the composer is. It's like now that's where the spirits can get in there, and especially if it was a demonic intent behind it. You know what I'm saying? And then we go in and then try to switch, just put the name Jesus and God in it, and try to say, okay, Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
I'm just like that's the
Right.
stuff I say that's where I say you got to be careful. So
Yeah, I can understand that.
So
Yeah.
I mean, when I started playing for my church, I mean, they they was so against me because of the style I had. But I learned that from my teacher. They were so used to back in the day style when they just played, you know, just notes. But I came in with the little style, with the little, and I'm sitting there rocking, and I had people that they just faith was just toe up, just mad.
She doing too much.
Yeah, I'm doing too much, but that was just me. And with my style and way I brought things in, but I'm like, if you was, don't listen to my music, listen to the words of the song. It's just the only thing you need to be focusing on. But they was hot. They were just mad at me about because
Ron, get on this panel. I gotta go do that.
what'd you say, Sabrina?
I said I gotta go do dishes. Tell Ron to come up on here. Or what was the other guy that was? I think he was driving.
He said he wasn't coming on tonight. I put it up. He said, yeah, he's driving. He can't come on tonight. He said.
The other guy. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like me too. Like what Z was saying. Like at my old church that I used to go to, I come from a quartet background, so I come with them bass lines hard. So
Right.
when I went to the church that I'm at now, they do a what is it?
CCM.
Yeah, CCM.
Mhm.
So I actually tweaked the CCM music to my taste, and my church loves it. They really love it, and we still go into worship in the same time. So I mean, so I'm very eclectic when it comes to that because I even listen to rock music as well.
Y'all see what Quay just put in he's sitting here on the panel, but you see what he just put in there? Somebody's sleeping in my pulpit.
I'm just trying to lighten this up, man. I'm just trying to lighten it up, man. Just trying to lighten it up.
That sounds like a sermon. That would preach.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Did anybody else have any? I'm sorry, that one caught me off guard. Because I've been listening to Drew Hill like for the last week or so, like a lot, like more than normal. That's why I said I've listened to that song so many times. So for you to have this type that just now, I'm like, oh no, he didn't.
I'm just trying to lighten this up, man. Lighten this up.
Oh no, it's I think everything was cool. I'm enjoying what's going on. No need to lighten it up.
That's good stuff.
Did anyone else have any other thoughts they want like to share?
Wait, play some of that Reckless Love. Let's see if we can get you in the worship and spirit.
Hey,
Say that again.
No,
What you say, Sabrina? I didn't hear you.
We can play some of Reckless Love to set the atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I want to hear.
Honestly, I don't know this song.
It sound like a rock.
It
sound like a rock song. My drummer be over here, the guitar be over here. It sound like a rock song, man. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe I might not feel the same way, but every time that song come up, they wanted to play it. I'm like, all right.
But
I love playing that song. To be honest, the way I play it, I love playing it.
Yeah, I'm really gonna have to check this song out now.
I love when people take church songs and they do add like a reggae beat to it, or they do jazz it up just a little. You made a way. Like if you add a little extra beat to it, I know I've been messing with my piano and adding little beats to stuff when I'm playing it. I'm like, oh, that wouldn't fly in the churches I go to. They'll look at me crazy. But I like that. And it's like certain people are not going to receive that. But that I like when, I don't know if that's considered adding a little secular to it, but when it's a gospel song and you kind of revamp it and make it.
It's all about.
I can be playing a song, and it was one song I was playing, and I threw in a little Johnny Taylor little lick with the cheaper the keeper, dun 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 dun, and people like, hey, yeah,
Right, they got happy, right?
Yeah, I throw in little licks and stuff like that. Depends on how everything is moving.
Okay, all right. Well, Andrea is going to bless us
Bless us.
with a selection.
All right. Is it time?
Yeah, I think it's about time because
Okay.
this is a nice transition, and then we can move into the next discussion. So everybody else, do me a favor and mute your microphones, including me. I'm gonna mute mine from my mixer over here. It's easier for me to do it. But yeah, and let's give the floor to Andrea.
This is an original. I hope my keyboard isn't too loud and that I can be heard over it. So I don't know. If something's off, just throw up a sign or something and tell me to stop or whatever. No, are those gang signs? Don't you know what? Okay. So this is called The Hero.
Oh, you're just going to end it just like that?
Sorry,
it was like it's okay. He can still watch you, and you can still sing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to stop. My son came in and he was asking me for something. Jeremiah, can you give me a second? Thank you. Yeah. So that's The Hero.
I'm
And
thirsty.
all right, your dad's in there. Go ask him. He wants something to drink. Get yourself. You can get water. There's a water in there. You can get soda. There's a soda in there. Help yourself, honey.
All right, help yourself.
Mommy, I have to go on mommy duty.
It's all good. Nah, that's always number one. Yeah, the kids got to be number one. I get it.
Yes.
I get it. Sabrina had to log off, but she did tell me to tell you that she went into worship. She told me to tell you that. And of course, she left a comment while you were singing. She left that for you while you were singing, but then she told me to tell you that she went into worship. So
amazing voice, amazing songs. Especially if that be your own song. That was a really amazing song.
Was you in D minor?
God be the glory. Thanks.
Was you in D minor?
That was basically the end of it. So when my son came up, it wasn't really much left. So.
Oh, okay. It was just like it just stopped so abruptly. I'm sitting here like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Let me go. I had to go turn my mic back on. So let me go turn my mic back on. And
coming up the stairs, I was like, oh no, it's about to
happen. Man, we're family friendly here. It is all good. No, don't even. There's nothing to apologize. Nothing to.
Was that in D minor or?
D's trying to. She's trying to steal your song. She want to know where you're in D minor. She said, "Were you in D minor?"
Yeah, it's in F, but yeah, at the end it goes to relative D minor.
Right. Okay, yeah. F and D is the same scale anyway. So.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to keep my ear trained. That's all.
Now that was it. That was fire, man. Wow. Oh, somebody said, hold up. What they said, girl, you can sing.
Oh, sweet. Thank
she can. Oh, okay. Oh, and then her son can do the twirling thing with the drumstick too.
Yeah, he wanted a little FaceTime, so.
Oh no, it's
come
all
here,
good.
boo. Come here, booby.
You don't have any drum set up in that room. You don't have his drum set up in there, do you?
Go ahead, twirl it.
You gotta use the other hand so we can see it, though. Let me see this. Okay, we can see it when I do that. We can see it when they do that. Okay. That's what's up.
Okay.
But he can always you don't have the drum set up in that room, do you?
No, it's in the basement. Okay. I was going to tell you this earlier.
It's a pearl drum set.
His drum set, he has a nice set. It's just that he kicked a hole in his kick drum head.
Wow.
And I have a replacement head, but yesterday, we were trying to because it was his birthday, we were trying to do a little jam session in the basement.
Okay.
And we were going to replace the head, but none of us could find his drum key. He had 3 drum keys because we lose stuff. I had one in my dresser. We had a broken one. I thought I had one in. So anyway, make a long story short, we couldn't find his drum key. I ended up putting some packing tape over the drum hole, and
he kicked it out, right?
I mean, he made it work. It's not he needs to replace the drum head. I'm gonna have to get another drum key. But
that should be pretty easy to get. So.
Oh yeah, they are not expensive at all.
Okay, that's cool. Well, happy belated birthday, sir. How old are you now? 34?
Tell them how old you are. Come here. Come here so they can hear you.
Did he say 37? You said 37 years old? You older than Brandy. Then that means you're older than Brandy. Say that again.
11.
Oh, 11. Okay. Well, happy belated birthday, and I look forward to hearing you play some drums on this live stream, so we can just show you to everybody. You cool with that? Okay, you looking at me like, leave me alone. I want to get off here real quick because I'm gonna leave you alone.
No, he don't want
You say what?
to get.
Oh, okay.
Go play. Go play.
It's all good. It's all good, man. Definitely encourage the young musicians. It's the two kids, well, young people down in Florida. It's like they were on my birthday stream with their mother. Remember they did the Whitney Houston and Count on Me Through Thick and Thin on my birthday stream. It's just like I love when I see young people like that that's talented and just love music like that. So definitely
Yeah.
everyone's welcome. If you love music, come on. Ouch, that hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Just come on. All right. Well, yesterday we also talked a little bit about, and I got real personal. This is where I got a little personal. Music or musician burnout. Musician
Mm.
burnout. It has. I mean, for me, it was a combination of musician slash YouTube burnout for me. That happened
Yeah.
to me around 2018, but I would love to give everybody else a chance to speak on their thoughts on, especially how to avoid it. What ways do you take to avoid that musician slash music burnout? And for those of you that make YouTube videos and YouTube burnout, Schroeder, did you want to start?
Yeah. What I have learned over the years is that you just have to take out time to um, find some way in your schedule to take out time to have fun. And what I've started doing with uh, my music staff is outside of church, we started to hang out, like maybe come to each other house and just chill,
Okay.
um, or maybe like go out to eat, or throw something on a grill, or do something that don't have to pertain to music, something to do outside of music, because you have to have that mental break. Mentally, you have to take a step back from music because you can burn yourself out completely. And
Mhm.
when you have burnout, it's just like you don't want to touch it, you don't want to see it. You don't, you like we talked about last night. I can drive in my car and I will not turn on no music. I can go anywhere around in this town and I will not turn that radio on for nothing because I don't want to hear it. I'd rather ride in silence than to turn on music. Um, like I told you last night, also I hadn't been down here in the lab until Brandy had gotten here, and then when Brandy left, I still didn't come down here.
So when
So
she left, so did your music desire.
the most I've been down here when Brandy was when Brandy was here. I mean, that's how burnt out I was before she has gotten here. And when she got here, it was the most I've been down here. Then when she left, I'm like, I just didn't. I mean, I tried to force myself down here and just would not come.
I
But
know.
yeah, you have to take
Yeah.
out time from it. If not, uh, I mean, you can't go into a depression. To be
Right.
honest with you, you can't go into a depression. I know I did, and
Oh wow, wow,
and you just have to step back from it.
wow.
Mhm. I like that he says, you burn out when the music becomes a burden and you lose what
Yes.
makes the fun. Amen to that.
And,
Amen.
and and then every day you got to come up with music for the church every Sunday, because it's
Mhm.
like once you finish with that with the Sunday, then you got to come up with the music for the next Sunday, then the next Sunday, then the next Sunday, and then you got to deal with the group music, and then you got to deal with this, and then you got to deal
And
with
then you
that,
gotta
and then
do YouTube tutorials and you gotta learn music for the do YouTube tutorials. It's oh man, I
yeah,
love what Ron called himself just now, y'all. But let me move this so y'all can see what he called himself. The boys, I call my baby on the phone. Got to get a message to let her know if she ever feels alone to dial my heart. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to get that. I'm sorry. He came on as the boys. All right, go ahead, D. What were you saying?
so but that's how I feel. But so now we started to just every weekend or after rehearsal or whatnot, we try to get together, have a musician hangout, and just kind of just unwind and just have fun and just kind of relax our mind.
Yeah, my burnout, and I shared this yesterday a little bit. My burnout came once the YouTube channel started taking off. I never knew that it was going to be like this. I never thought the channel would be that popular and that many people were like, okay, look, can you do this song? Here's money, blah blah blah. It got to a point where I would see my PayPal, and you would think you would be happy that to see that you just made some more money. There's sometimes I'll look at it and be like, like I literally just made money, but I'm like, and when I see it's
Now
a
I'm
$20
obligated
one,
to play.
right? Exactly. I'm just like, oh my goodness, I'm already backed up with like 18 different videos I gotta make, and now another. So it's like, and that stuff starts piling on sometimes, and
Jazz, you still owe me one too.
I do. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do.
You still owe me one, but I ain't
But
gonna trip.
what
It's all
song
good.
what song am I supposed to be doing for you?
It's the chorus to I Shall Wear a Crown. I'm trying to
Oh
learn that
yeah,
one.
that's why you sent that to me recently. Like reminded me, I should say.
Like
You
3 months,
reminded
3
me
months.
recently about that.
It's only been 3 months, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
all good.
Well,
It's all good.
you good then. It's only been 3 months. Some people will come on here and tell you, give you a much longer time than 3 months.
I'm just messing with you, bro. I'll just take your time.
But yeah, for me, I never really considered, ever really felt burned out until the YouTube channel started taking off, and sometime in 2017 is when the tutorials just really started popping, and it was just like I said, because I wasn't prepared, I had no idea. In my mind, I'm gonna tell you, in my mind, I was thinking there's so many people that's already doing tutorials out there who are good, right? It's like I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to start putting out some tutorials here and there, but there's no way that this is going to take off because there are enough people out there already doing this. So in my mind, I did not know that it was going to take off the way it did, and that's the honest truth. But once it started happening, and I still had all my other music responsibilities, like Dee was talking about for church and all this stuff. And then on top of it, I'm getting a pile of songs that I got to sit down and learn how to play and produce videos for. On top of everything, I'm a music teacher. So, we got all kinds of programs I got to prepare for at the school. So I got to learn songs for the preschools to do, and then a song for the kindergarten to do, song for the first, second, and third grade to do, a song for fourth and fifth grade to do, a song for the sixth grade to do, and a song for the seventh and eighth grade to do. Oh, and then all the music for Sunday. Oh, and all these videos all these requests that keeps coming in from YouTube. It was just, it really was just like, it really, and it was just like, I think, like I said, I believe it was around May of 2018. Up until that point, I was just not doing anything but just fulfilling the YouTube requests and just doing what I had to do. It was like I really was not taking any breaks. It's like I would literally get
Yeah.
like 2 to 3 hours sleep almost every night. And I said this yesterday when the tutorial started taking off. I actually was still married. I was still married, so I still had to come home, deal with whatever I had to deal with, and with the kids or whatever, or my ex-wife at the time, or my wife at the time, I should say. So, and then after that, I would go down and start doing tutorials. Blah blah blah. I separate from my wife. That's the only time I took a break. I took a 2-day break. That 2-day break was so that I could move my stuff out, set it up again, and in 2 days, even though my marriage had just fell apart, I said nothing on YouTube. None of y'all even knew about it. When I would record a video, I would put my wedding ring back on just to make the video and take it back off, and it was done. And it's like I did not take any breaks. I was just working. I mean, oh my goodness, it's like it makes me cringe when I think about how much I
Wow.
was doing, and I did that for like a good over a year. And then around May of 2018, that's when it was just like I just stopped making the videos. I
Yeah.
stopped, and I stopped. I was just like, I can't. People, after a week or two, people would send messages like, "Yo, you're not abandoning your channel and anything." And I'm just like, I wasn't responding, I was just like, I'm not doing nothing. The only time I would come down in this basement was to do laundry. That's it. It's like if I had to do laundry, okay, I will walk right past all the washing machine and everything is on the other side of this basement. So I'll come down these steps, walk right on past this. No, don't even look. I don't even look in the direction of it. Put my clothes in, go right back upstairs. Like it was like it was really it was a bad time. And
Yeah,
I was like, I
it-
cannot let this ever happen again. And I honestly don't think I've recovered from it yet. Fully.
Uh-huh.
I still don't think I've fully recovered from the that burnout I had in 2018 because
and I haven't, and I don't know if you will ever, to be honest
yeah,
with
Wow. Wow.
right. It's like some of the fun was lost in music
you. Yeah,
because of that burnout, and I didn't get all of it back. I did
yeah,
not get all of it back yet, and it's and I'm like, I gotta try to make it so that it's like that's part of the reason why you will not see as many videos come up from me on my channel like you used to. Like I forget who was saying. Oh, I think Nassim was on here before saying, "Yo, I would wake up and he'll have 4 new videos up every day." It's like you won't see that from me anymore because I have to protect myself. It's like I can't do that anymore. It's that's one of the things that I had to learn. Like, look, I mean, I understand. You know what? Another thing that I had to learn, I had to learn to start hitting the refund button on PayPal. And you know what I'm saying? It's like literally, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just returning it back with a note saying I apologize. I just cannot get to this or whatever. I had to.
yeah,
It's a lot of things I have to do even now to make sure that that doesn't happen again. But
yeah.
okay, I ran my mouth. I already talked about it yesterday. Brandy, I'm gonna give you a chance to talk about if you've ever dealt with burnout.
That's all the time. Just like now, like we got the live session thing going on Saturday for the chords and for the beats and stuff. Like, even though I had the chords right there and I didn't listen to the chords over and over again, wrote it down, trying to play the chords, I cannot come up with nothing. I'm like seriously burnt out.
Oh, you mean with the chords for
Yeah,
this Saturday?
yeah.
See, Andre, that's your fault.
No,
Sorry.
no, no.
It's
It's
her
not.
chords. Why you gonna put Andrea on there like that, man? You
No,
gonna
it's
get
not
Andrea
even like
chords, man.
that.
You gonna wait for the
I
one
hate the
time?
chords.
See you later, Nathan.
Oh, Nathan gotta go.
Yeah,
You said it's
Okay,
two
all
thirty
right,
in the
Nathan.
morning. Yeah, it's 2:30 in the morning over there.
Oh, the one from South Africa. You talking about that lady?
yeah.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
got you. Okay. Look at that. You
But
gonna put Dre on the spotlight. This is the first time I
no,
heard her bring the chords in. You just gonna
Look,
don't be putting my homegirl like that on
no,
the spot.
no, 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 no. It has nothing to do with her. It's just been like,
Maybe if you let me know. Maybe if you start using your thumbs, you know what I'm saying? It might spark some new interest.
no. It's just other things. I even from down to my YouTube channel, like I haven't posted nothing in what about 2-3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just burn out on what D was saying too, dealing with the church and every week bringing in new songs and everything. It's like all of that counted to one, and for me to gather myself together, I actually sit back and listen to old school music. To be honest, I don't forget music at all, but I don't play it. I'm just listening and trying to get my creative juices flowing again. And I will actually sit there and listen to meditation music and just lay here in the pitch dark, just meditating on that stuff. And if something come up, then I get up, lay it down. So
Okay.
I'm still I might still have a beat on Saturday. I don't know yet.
Don't be
But
trying to be like me and coming in here with no beats.
don't do that. Cause I have missed a couple because I was burnt out about it. But it's
Oh,
okay.
hello. I've been missing some too because it's just like trying to get those tutorials done and then have to sit down and try to create a beat. it's like, whoa, sometimes I just can't do it. I just
Yeah.
can't. I do understand.
And sometimes I just have to like another way that I do that as well is just going outside, get a good breather. Cause I halfway want to deal with my own drama sometimes, so that is way out the question. Shut up, D.
Oh, I know your drama. When you was here, he called you like every hour on the hour, if
Exactly.
less than that.
Well, what is he calling you about? Is this about music and stuff?
Nothing.
No, nothing.
Oh, he didn't like you.
You need to put do not disturb.
Try that. He'll find another way to get in contact. Trust me.
Oh
Mhm.
wow. Oh, so so
It's
so
that.
so, so so he got a little fancy for you. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he
Yes,
do.
Or is it
He
a
do.
big fancy?
it's a big fancy. A
No,
big
it's
fancy.
a big fancy.
Yes, he is after me hard. And I
Okay.
try to ignore him with that too. So I seclude myself and go outside, sit under the bush or something, and, and get
Then go
away.
bush, bush, bush. I wish Ron was on here because that's a song by the Boys off their second album. But anyway, most people probably never heard it before. But anyway, okay. so
I
so
say at least her drummer do contact. I keep forgetting to contact my drummer. I don't know.
some minister of music you are. But okay, so you're saying that you're kind of sort of in burnout right now, Brandy.
Yeah,
Okay, and D,
I
you said
really
you're
am.
kind of in the two right now, currently. You're currently in a
Yeah,
form of burnout.
yeah, I am, and then dealing with people who takes the fun and the love out of it, because they want to drag, they want that, what would you call it, that the slave drive, and it takes the fun out of it. And
Hmm.
when they do that, it's just like I don't even want to deal with it. They don't know how to have fun with it. They want to be so, and so now I'm just like, ugh.
Wow.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, Corey, what's your thoughts on
It,
musician burnout?
well, to be honest with you, I think I'm the youngest as far as musicianship in here because I've only been playing since 2017. That's when I taught myself how to play the piano. But
Oh, okay.
so I haven't
You
been
only been
burnt out
playing
yet.
since yesterday. So you only been playing since yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Reality, yeah. Since
Yeah, you just
2017.
started yesterday. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But so I don't really have any burnout stories. I've been playing for this mixed church, which is a mix of black, white, Spanish, and everything. Mostly we play CCM. We play 4 songs. Out of 4 songs, we play two of them in CCM and two of them are regular old school, kind of like Baptist black church songs type. But I haven't
Okay.
really been burnt out of musicianship or whatever. Like that's the only people I play for. I play at home by myself just for fun, just to learn stuff and try to learn chords and try to learn off of you guys and stuff like that. So I haven't
Right.
feel the burnout yet. But if I'm listening to y'all advice and everything, so if I ever do get that way, I got the knowledge. That's why I like being as part of this group. So now I got the knowledge to
Yeah.
understand before it happens from all
That's good. That's
for you guys.
really
So
good.
yeah, I
That's really
appreciate that.
good
Yeah,
because, like I said, in my opinion, I've never
yeah.
fully recovered from
Right.
my burnout. So if you can make it so that you never even get to that point,
Yeah. But
then
listening to
man,
y'all, how y'all handle it, that's why I'm saying I'm
yeah,
glad I'm part of the group because now I know what to do before then, how to do it and
Yeah.
everything because I'm listening to everybody explain what happened. So now I
you
appreciate
got
y'all.
to
And never, don't ever be scared to say no when you feeling yourself being overwhelmed.
Right.
you
It's a
got to
certain point of time you have to say no.
No. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
for real. That's so,
Yeah.
and it's like, and it's hard for me to say no too. It really is. So I get if you find it hard to say no, I can have it. It's hard for me too. But you got to protect your love for the
Yeah.
music, man, and
Yeah.
people will just keep taking from you and keep requiring, and they will just do it
Wow.
until you
Yeah.
just have nothing left to
Left.
give. And then
Yes.
then after that it's just like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Andrea, I definitely would love to hear your if you have any stories of music burnout.
Yeah, I do. And I really can relate to everything that has been shared so far. I think I have like two burnout stories. The first one is back when I was a worship leader. I led worship at a church for between 7 and 10 years. The last 3 years were kind of shaky, but so the biggest thing that led to the burnout for me musically was overcommitment. I think somebody alluded to that already. Just constantly saying yes to things, taking a lot of different kinds of engagements, and in that capacity, you're constantly pouring out and pouring out and pouring out. But a lot of times there's not necessarily anybody to pour back into you per se once you're in kind of like that leadership position. And the thing about it was I was kind of in it was a smaller church. So a lot of people think that if you go to a bigger church, if you're on a staff at a bigger church, you're doing more work, but it's not necessarily true. Like there's a lot of work to be done. So suppose I got sick. If I got sick, there was nobody to take my place. There was one Sunday where I was actually sick and I needed to stay home. And my pastor, who was my aunt at the time, she was like, I really, really need you to come in. And I think I ended up coming in, but I was so sick and I was not supposed to be there. I was supposed to say no and stay home and rest, but there was just nobody to take my place. So, I mean, love my aunt to death. It was just like a situation where I hadn't learned how to set the proper boundaries. And I definitely learned from that. Sometimes the answer is no. You know what I mean? And that's it. You know?
Yeah.
So that was part of it. And also part of the burnout for me was like the repetitive nature of playing the same kinds of songs, and week after week, and just the same kind of format. It kind of stifles the creativity. And when I'm not able to be free and creative, then I'm going to get either bored or burnt out. So that's just kind of the nature of the beast. The other time I burnt out was, I'm also a music educator. I've been teaching elementary school music for about 17 years now. And a few years back, I might have been in year 10 or something like that, maybe 12. I just got to the point where I had taught everything that I had known, and it was year after year. And I felt like, and I just feel like I can't really serve my students if I don't have a sense of freshness or joy about what I'm teaching. And I just kind of like hit a wall one year where I was just like, I'm so tired of this.
I think she's just having a little connection issue. Hold on. We'll just give her internet a chance to get caught up.
So yeah, these are definitely good tips. Overcommitment, all this stuff is definitely. Like I said, I'm paying attention. I'm listening to all y'all. So this is definitely good stuff.
Overcommitment is an easy way, and she actually kind of touched on that a little bit. Learning to say no and saying yes too much. All that is the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. So
you got to say no sometimes.
Oh yeah. Because it was at one point in time on a Sunday, I wouldn't get home until I would be playing for so many churches. It just constantly just going and going and going and going.
Wow.
Just going. And it's just like I was just burnt out.
Wow.
I truly understand. Ron, since she's having issues, I'll come to you. And then when she comes back, we'll let her finish her thought. But I know we talked about this yesterday, so we're just piggybacking off of yesterday's discussion. What's your thoughts on burnout, man?
The burnout is real. That's all I got to say.
Extremely.
It's real.
I with playing in church and playing in a secular band, I would say the burnout more for me is church. Because church, you got to be there 2-3 times a week, and then you got 3 or 4 choirs that you got to play for. So the burnout is real. Hey, Andrea is so good with words because everything that she described is everything.
She's very good with words.
I mean, I mean, she just summed up everything that I was.
Yeah, she did.
That's why I love
that
when
I
she comes
was
on, because I'm
feeling.
like, oh, we're gonna get the tea when Andrea's on it. We're gonna get everything.
Oh man,
Yeah.
she is so good with words. It's kind of like I'm Moses and and she's
Right,
Aaron.
and she's Aaron, right? She's Aaron, you're Moses, right?
Right.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, read the Bible, study your Bible, read the Bible, study your Bible. If you don't know what we're talking about,
But go ahead and continue, Andre.
yeah,
And that's my
Andrea,
wife.
you can continue with your thought. Go ahead. What'd you say, Ron?
And that's funny. And that's funny. That's my wife's name, Andrea.
Oh, for real? Oh,
Oh.
okay. But yeah, Dre, go ahead and continue with your thought.
Who, me?
I think she's. Yeah, go ahead, because you were in mid thought when your connection did something funky.
I had went on to finish. I forgot what I was saying. I think what I was saying at the end was change your routine, break up your routine in order to prevent burnout. Do something totally different, or just take a break from it altogether. Rest up. Don't do anything. I did a workshop for a church one time. It was for church musicians, and I told them, I was sharing my experience of burnout, and I said, they say that the Levites always have to be there and be on, and I said, but you know what? God rested on the 7th day. Everybody needs to take a break. If you need to take a break, let your pastor and church administration know, I need a break, and take your break. So after I did my presentation, another presenter got up behind me and said, God, y'all are not going to believe this. I appreciate what that sister was saying, but when the Lord calls you to do something, you can't take no break.
I know. I'm sorry for getting loud.
Wow.
That hurts me.
That is the mentality that is driving us musicians to stress levels that are unbearable. It's not of God. I get where she was coming from, but you cannot drive people to the point of exhaustion. People slip into depression and all kinds of physical illnesses because of that. But, so my biggest thing is like, switch up your routine or take a break. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I promise you, I almost died spiritually if I didn't take a break. I had to take a break. And actually, my break led to a total breakaway from that whole way of life. Because I know that I could not live that way. And I know that God didn't call me to live that way. And I don't say that to say that everybody needs to break totally away from that. You got to be led of God. But I say that to say, take a break. Just take a break.
So Drea, so when they said when you break, you break.
Right, yeah. That's what Bernie Mac said on that thing. When we break, that's exactly what we do. We break. Anybody seen Johnny?
In some denominations, the pastor takes the entire month of August off. What about the musicians?
Hey, how come the pastor can take off with the musicians? That's stupid.
And you know what? And I'm so glad that you said that, because actually before this whole thing that we're going through happened, I had scheduled a meeting with my pastor because I had not had a break in 5 years. I've been there every Sunday, whether sick, rehearsals, I hadn't had a break. And I wanted to meet with her to tell her, I need a vacation. But this whole thing hit. I needed a vacation. I didn't want it this way, but I did finally get a break because I really needed a break. I was burned out. When you're trying to juggle a family, you're trying to juggle your real job, and you're trying to practice, you're trying to get together music and stuff. It is overwhelming. Somebody asked me today. They said, man, do you miss church? Yeah, I miss church, but
not really. But not really.
Right. This is the first time in years I've been able on a Sunday to sit around in my pajamas,
Hey, it does feel good.
Yeah. Don't let it feel too good now.
And what Drea was talking about, I've had a pastor tell me that, before, and in our churches, we got to be careful because that is mental abuse. You know, when you don't know the Lord or have a relation for yourself, it's so easy to fall into that. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's the devil. She's right. I need to do this for God. But you can't get so busy doing the work of the Lord that you actually forget to praise the Lord, have a relationship with the Lord also. And in our churches, we get so busy doing the work of the Lord, but we're not actually, doing what it is that he needs us to do. Yeah,
Yeah, you're so busy working that you're not doing what the Lord needs you to do because you're so busy working.
Hey, thank you, Andrea. That was confirmation for me. Thank you.
Amen. Right. You summed it up nicely, son.
And I can't, that's why I love my church, because it's one thing that I can say: if I need to take off, I can take off, as long as I can find me a musician that can take my place. If I let them know ahead of time and I can find somebody who can take my place, they'll let me take off with vacation pay. So, I'm really blessed to be there at the church that I'm at. So, I can't complain, but it just, whew, I had to take a break. And one time I took a whole month off, and they was like, "Do you really need a whole month off?" Yes.
Look, I could take 2 years off if you want. Like that.
And that's what I'm saying. It's okay for the pastor to take a vacation, but please don't let the musician take a vacation.
Right.
Angela just asked a very good question that is perfect for what we're talking about right now. She said, when you say no, do you ever have a brief moment of guilt? I can say this for myself. Yeah, I do. Even with all the trash I'm talking, I sure do. What about y'all? Oh, look at D. D like
not anymore.
Just a little, but honey, I get over it real quick.
Right. I do. I mean,
not anymore.
You do, Ron?
When I was younger, I did.
But let me say this: when I was younger, it might have been a whole lot of guilt. Now it might be just this much of guilt, but I'm getting better at saying no, because like I told you yesterday, man, I looked up and I was in like 3 bands, and I was like, for what?
For what? Like that.
What am I doing?
And all of a sudden, you like, for what? What am I trying to prove here?
Right, like I got it because other musicians could easily pull you in that when it's their full-time job. They can easily pull you into that. But for me, I work a regular job that's 40 hours a week. I don't need to gig like that.
Right, exactly. It's not a full-time job. I feel you on that, but y'all. So, but you say you do feel a little guilty sometimes, Ron. I do too, and I don't. But I don't know why. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to keep me from saying no. I'll still say no, but deep down inside, it's just like, well, what if God was going to use me for this? You know what I'm saying? It's like you get some. But then when you're resting on a day that event was going to happen, I feel much better when I get to just relax and say, "Oh, man, if I would have said yes, I wouldn't be sitting here relaxing right now, getting my mind together."
And you gotta remember, especially, you got to take care of home first, and home includes not only your family, but home includes your mental state.
Yes.
Your body, your health, and all of that. Because hey man, I don't think that they mean to run you ragged, but they will run you ragged. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Every time.
And what makes it so bad is the choir members can just take off anytime, but let you take off. Oh my goodness, wee
Curse you. It's funny with me because there's been with the church where I am now, there's been 2 times where I had to take off, but it was absolute emergency. The first one was when I had my toe amputated, but even before that, I had to have emergency hernia surgery. was it 2018? That might was 2018 or something like that. So I mean, so I will admit that my church that they were very they they were matter of fact at one of those events my pastor even showed up at the hospital to make sure I was okay. I think it was the hernia surgery because that one probably almost took me out. And then that surgery there was a little bit of complications and I was in the operating room for longer than I was supposed to be. My family got all worried. My mother was crying. My sister was crying. I stopped breathing. I had stopped breathing and everything. So I will admit, but it wasn't. Oh yeah, I'm still here, man. I did all that and still was making YouTube videos.
Yeah, I did see you. You came back from some surgery, man. Talking about, yeah, I'm back. And I remember you came back like, man, wait, yeah, I remember that.
I had to take somewhat of a break, but it was like I definitely came back down and started doing videos when I didn't need to. I will say that.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
That's why I say I can't keep letting myself. That goes right back to what we're talking about with the burnout stuff, man. Part of the reason why I be burning myself out, man. It was like I did not need to rush back to doing tutorials like that. But anyway.
Right.
But I will admit those are the two times that I actually had to not be at the church, but it was way beyond anything that I could control. So I will say that they didn't give me any pressure on that situation, but I've never actually just asked for time off. So I don't know how that would, they probably would be like, oh, sure, you can take some time off. And before I come back, probably be a new musician in there. I don't know. You know, some churches are, they'll get you like that. But
well, it's in my contract that that I have some vacation days.
Oh, okay. So that's different for you because I don't know if that's in everybody's contract.
Yeah, and I stopped doing contracts years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this is like my first year doing a contract, which I was like, I've been here for 21 years, and now y'all want to do a contract on me? Come on, really?
You know what? That's a little suspect right there. To be honest,
right.
If you was there,
that be careful.
They even gave you an award. I remember you showing the picture on Facebook for all those years of service, and now they want to give you a
Yeah, and it was because we had different new musicians that came in.
What you say, D? I'm sorry.
Because we had new musicians that was coming in, and I guess to keep down a lot of stuff, I had to do a contract too, and I was like, okay. I didn't agree with it, but I was like, okay.
But at least in your contract, you get your vacation though now. So
yeah, I know a lot of musicians and pastors that have gotten in trouble, with contracts, where there's been actual, litigation, and all this stuff.
Oh.
Wow.
That's why I would never get in a contract because, hey, you might decide one Sunday you don't like me. I might decide one Sunday I don't want to do this anymore. So I
feel you.
I'm on. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go there.
Right. You want to just be able to say, you know what? Peace. and not have some type of somebody knocking on your door saying, here's your summons to appear in court. Oh yeah, and we suing you for $50,000 because that's what you signed on the company. Like, and y'all call this Christian church? Okay, all right.
And that's what we talked about yesterday on the string. The behind the scenes things. It's all good at that 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour. But after the benediction, sometimes it could be a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's when the real church situation starts beginning. After the benediction, that's when you really get to see what goes on. And Andrea was just talking about the paganism of the way we do church now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get a real good taste of it sometimes.
Yeah, because it's hard for me to leave right after church because you got meetings after church. People want to talk to you about this and that, and be like, well, good gracious.
Like, can I live? Can I breathe? I think like that, something like that on his other album. But yeah, I think the number one, if you want to avoid music burnout, it seems like everybody is on this. I guess is agreeing. We are in agreement. Is what I'm trying to say with saying Learn how to say no. And definitely don't feel bad for saying no, even though some of us still feel bad. Even though now, don't be a butthead and just go around every time somebody says no. Can you do no? No, can you, no.
Who do you think I am?
Don't just walk around and just start being like, who do you think I am? And start yelling at people. Andre, you see Andre over there, right?
Right.
No means no.
Who do you think I am?
Yeah,
we're
like
not Little Richard.
What you say? What you say?
Who do I look like, Little Richard?
I know, right? I mean, my name might be Richard, but it ain't Little. Well, actually, my family did call me Little Richard, but that's because my daddy name was. But they don't call me Little Richard no more. Then I'm kind of big now.
What do you think I am, Kurt Franklin?
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, don't go around being a butthead about it either. You know what I'm saying? But definitely take time for yourself, because the one thing, to me, one of the worst things in the world is to have something that you love so much, but then at the same time hate it.
Yeah.
And I was there. I've been there with music. I've been there where it's just like, y'all heard Curtis, is those of you that seen the live stream Saturday of my high school friend, he said, Richard always loved music. You know what I'm saying? And he's right. But there was a time when I loved music, but then hated it at the same time. And you don't ever, you don't ever want to, if you can avoid getting to that point, take those steps. Take the steps that you just heard us talk about. Learn to say no, especially when your mind and your body is saying. Andrea said there was a situation where her aunt asked her to come, and she went ahead and did it anyway, but she knew she shouldn't have been there. Those are the times where you have to take those type of situations and just know and just say, again, you don't have to be a butthead about it, but but at the same time, you need to explain, look, I'm not able to do it right now. I'm not even saying lie and say, well, I have something else to do, because I would never tell you to lie, because you know what I'm saying, but just be honest and just be out and say, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And I think that will help tremendously with you not falling into what we call musician burnout. Now, same thing, same rules applies to YouTube burnout. For those of us that, because my burnout was in association with YouTube. My music burnout was in association. And it's like, with me, I do accept PayPal payments to make the tutorials, and for me, I have to go back and start refunding people, because sometimes it's just not worth it's just not worth being that stressed out and having that many songs and say, man, it's like you almost getting it's like you're in despair, like, I'll never get this stuff done. To be honest with you, I kind of feel like that right now with some of the stuff that I have now. It's just like, I'll never get all this stuff done, and so it's not that hard. Just take the precautions. Say no. Know when to rush. Know when to take time for yourself. I'm like D. When I drive in the car, a lot of times I'm not listening to music. A lot of times I'm not listening to music. It's like I'll listen to some podcast on YouTube or something, somebody like that, some type of talk, whether it's somebody's YouTube channel that I'm listening to because they're talking. But you don't want to get to that point. It's like you want to keep that love for music pure. So
and if you're in a relationship, always trying to make time for that person that you're with, because music can take you away from it.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're with another musician.
No, even if you're with another musician, both of y'all got to take time to love each other too. Because if you're with another musician, both of y'all working. She over here, you over here. Y'all never get.
That's true.
Love, you know what I'm saying? So definitely.
That's my story, 100%.
There you go, because Andrea is married to a musician. That's right. Yeah. She's a musician. Yeah. There you go. Talk about that, Dre. How do you and your husband, for those that might be in a couple or relationship or marriage out there, what's your stance on how to deal with both of y'all being musicians, and how do y'all still keep the fire lit and all that good stuff?
Well,
without getting too detailed, of course.
Right, yeah. We play in a band together, so that's an opportunity for us to bond. But besides that, I mean, he stays very busy. He's a lot busier than I am as far as going out to play. But I think because I'm a musician, when I got into the relationship, I had already decided in my mind that I have to make peace with the fact that this man is a musician, and I don't want to come between him and the thing he loves the most. So as far as him going out to play, if it doesn't involve me, if I can't be there to support him, because a lot of times we have to be two different places. So, that's a part of it. It just kind of comes with it. But I try my best not to come between him and his music. And he does the same with me. But that's just our arrangement. I feel like if I take him away from music because I need more time with him, then in a sense, I'm kind of like sacrificing his happiness for mine and vice versa. So, and I wouldn't want him to take me away from me doing my music. So I think the first thing in the relationship is make sure you're happy as an individual. And if you're happy as an individual, then when you come together, you'll find some measure of happiness. So, I mean, that's just how we do. I kind of knew I think we both knew what we were signing up for when we got into a relationship with another musician. It's a busy life. It's just a busy life. You gotta make it work.
That's true. And then also being a musician too, when you go out, you do get propositions a lot.
Yeah.
Now I told you yesterday, except for me, I said this yesterday. I never get this. Everybody always said if you're a musician, you're always going to be proposition. People are always going to be throwing themselves at you, trying to get with you. I'm like, that's never happened to me in my life. And I'm like, maybe it's because
the only person they like is the bass player. They don't like nobody else but the bass player.
Well,
not necessarily.
I think all the musicians get, except for me. Except for me, I think all the other musicians.
Yeah, I ain't got no.
That's never happened to me.
I only play at church. I don't play it. No.
No, but that's what we're talking about. That's what Dee's talking about. She's talking about church musicians. Getting the business thrown at them, and I'm like, I've never experienced that. I'm like, either I must not be anointed, or I must not be that good, because everybody always say, oh yeah, you got to watch yourself. You get into, you doing all the music, and people start throwing. I'm sitting there looking like it never happened.
Either you're not paying attention,
right? Maybe you just ain't paying attention.
Maybe that's it. Because I'm like that never happened. I've never had to like watch my back. I'm like, nah. So. But I do realize that it is a true statement that most musicians have to deal with that. So how do y'all all deal with that? Like I know you say it was some dude in a wheelchair coming up to one of your singers. She sung some
while she was singing.
And he rolled up like, hey, baby, I got one good leg, girl. I take it anywhere I can get it. I take it anywhere I can get. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, man.
Hey, girl.
I take it anywhere I can get it.
Yeah, she was singing at last.
Singing at last, okay.
And he wrote, yeah, just like that in her face, man. It was. I mean, everywhere we went, it was just like it's always somebody. Every last one of us get propositioned by somebody.
Except for me, but remember, Brandy just got finished talking about her drummer, and he's a musician. And he's another musician, and she can't get rid of him.
So yeah, it's something else.
I really don't get propositioned.
Okay, so Dre and I the same. Well, Dre is married too, though. So
right, because everybody knows she's married, and her husband is a musician, so everybody probably knows who our husband is.
Right.
I mean, that probably plays into it. And before we got married, like my husband plays on the quartet scene a lot, so that scene is kind of swap meaty sometimes. I'm just gonna keep it real.
I heard about that. I heard quartets could be like worse than R&B artists.
People human or whatever. They want to have fun. I think he has probably been more propositioned than I have, and it doesn't really matter that we're married. Like, know, people want to go after whatever, but I really haven't, been the kind that people come up to and try to snag or whatever. And
hey, girl, can you sing that one more time? No, I'm not right here. I need you to sing it somewhere else.
Hey, I like to set up a rehearsal.
Yeah. We need to have a rehearsal. My address. I mean, the rehearsal address is right here. Meet me here.
Wow.
And you find out
I want to
it's
start a
apartment.
band. You'll be a perfect
Yeah, I want to start a band.
singer.
Come to my rehearsal, girl. Yeah, I need you to sing that song one more time. Here's my address. I mean, here's the address to the rehearsal space. Yeah, but
Oh, Richard, you gotta let me tell this story. This story is over 20 years old.
Please.
It's back when we were singing with Morgan State Choir. The choir was on Southern tour. We were on a bus tour, and we were touring churches down south, and we were at this church about to do this performance. It was like a big church, and the choir got there. They had fed us real good, and then everybody was like dispersing to their dress rooms, and I got lost. I had never been in that church before, so I was like trying to find a dressing room, and then I saw somebody, and I was just like, where is the women's dressing room? He was like, come with me, I'll show you where the dressing room is.
No.
And
it's right here, baby.
I'm so ashamed, but it's so funny because it's an old story. So he's like, just come with me, I'll show you where this. Okay, I was like, okay. So I'm following. He was like, it's around here. I was like, okay, we're okay. So we like going around the corner, we dipping and diving in different corners. And then finally, one of the men from the choir caught up with me. I think that must have been his church.
Okay.
And he said, Greya, don't follow this man. Like, he pulled me to the side. He was like, I got her. I'll take her to the room. And he took me to the right room. He was like, girl, that man was not taking you to the choir room. He was taking you somewhere else.
The bedroom.
I was like,
take you to that secret bedroom at the church.
What are you talking about?
They're meeting in the pulpit. Meeting in the pulpit.
Yeah, underneath the pulpit. Yeah. You got a bed right down here. Nobody would.
Around this corner, just
He's gonna take you to one of them classrooms. That's what he's gonna do.
Then he was like taking me to the classroom. He thought, I don't know if he thought he was going like get hit or whatever. I don't know what he thought was gonna go down.
Y'all gonna have class.
Right.
He wanted to anoint you.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't even count that as being propositioned. I was about to be sexually assaulted, and I was gonna punch him in his face.
Oh, I know you.
You're right. That's a big difference.
Yeah, that's different.
A big difference.
So, it's funny looking back on it, but back at the time, I laughed at it back then too. But looking back on it, I was like, dang, that was kind of weird.
That could have been something worse.
Yeah, it would have been.
It wouldn't have ended well for him. But
I agree. I know, because you would have whooped his behind.
Yeah. But the man in the wheelchair, he was like in the back of the room, and as soon as I hit the strings on that last, and my singer started singing, man, he came flying around.
Hey, girl.
And he was all up in my singer's face.
Oh my God.
And she kept it together, but she was like, oh my God, how can you sing? And he's just right there in just front of that.
Yeah, he was sitting there like, at last, I finally got to get up here and talk to you.
They're like, oh, girl, come here, girl. Let me roll you around in my chair.
You want to go for a ride? This got two, what do you call it, 2-drop engine? Yeah. I could take you somewhere now. Come on, girl. Sit on my lap. Just sit on my lap. You'll never have to walk again. So Ron, I'm just making up stuff. I'm not saying I'm guilty of doing any of this, okay? Remember, I'm the one that no one's tried to get with. But anyway, Ron, how have you dealt with it in the past, man? Because you look like you're a cool dude, and probably got some women that be coming up to you saying, "Hey, I got something that you could play on. You could do the same thing you do on them keys, boy. Come on. How you handle that, man?"
I don't even know.
You got
your tongue.
Is it that many memories? He's sitting like, oh, well, which one should I tell him? Let me see.
Look, Ron, too many memories.
Look.
Ron rubbing his head. He rubbing his head. He
like my wife might be looking at this right now. Let me.
He rubbing his head like.
I pass, brother. I pass.
The only thing I got to say with that is, you got to be prayed up, and you got to be careful with other musicians that you hang around in the church also, because some of them are not godly.
Oh,
so
yes, that's true.
So you got, I don't know, you just gotta, I don't know, you just gotta, I don't know, you learn a lot as you get older also, you know, the
Yeah.
no's and what
Yeah.
not to do. So you kind of got to learn. Sometimes you kind of naive to those type of things because you don't think that church people are like this,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, we all are human also, you know, but I don't know. You'll learn it as you as
You do
you
have
know.
groupies in the church. Trust me,
Oh
you do
yeah,
have
Everyone
yeah,
except
groupies.
for me. Everyone except for me. But yeah, the rest of y'all definitely got groupies.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I love when Mayoli said, "Yeah, let's go lay down some new chords." I'm like, no, he did not say that. We're gonna lay down some new chords.
And then also be careful what you who you befriend also, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes it's easy to fall in that trap and get to telling more than what you should also. And sometimes people, you know, would take advantage of that. I don't know what it is. Sometimes people are attracted. I think I said it yesterday. Sometimes people are attracted to the anointing.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily you, but it's that anointing. You know, sometimes people want to steal that anointing, but it's not on purpose. They just want to get that anointing, but they don't know how to grab that anointing, you know, for themselves. So yes, you just gotta you gotta be even you just gotta be careful is all I got to say, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah,
takes time to develop. It's a maturity thing.
it
It's
is.
true.
That's
Absolutely.
true.
Yes. except
Yeah.
except for me, I must not be anointed. But anyway, that's a different story.
That's the devil. Stay away from him.
Yeah, stay away from him. He ain't no. But no, hey, Quay, do you have any stories, man? Any experiences like that?
No, I
He
don't have
looked
any
like he got a
experiences.
lot of stories.
You not. Oh, you like me? You just not anointed. I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I
only
mean, I
people
wish I
like
could
Ron
have.
and
Yeah,
Dre
yeah.
and D and Brandy
Yeah.
that's anointed.
Hey,
They have
I
to
ain't got to
come with
rub my
that stuff,
head
right?
and come back with memories and stuff. Nah, man. Nah, I just, it's all good.
Ron was real smart with Fitz. He was like, "Hold up, my wife might be looking at this. Let me flip the way I answered this. That was good, man. I'm gonna leave you alone because I don't want you to get in trouble, man." All right.
And if I put one of my bandmates on, my band is mostly guys. They'll probably tell you a different story. Like they would
Mhm.
probably have more stories, but
I heard that. I heard that.
yeah,
Oh,
I don't know if there's a difference for
oh,
men
there's stories.
than women, but yeah, there's. I mean, it's a reality. There are people who are attracted to musicians. You know.
Right. Right.
Gotcha.
Except for me, but yeah, okay, I got you. Now let me stop. Let me stop. Did everybody get their thoughts out for that?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure? D? You sound like you got something else. You up there laughing the way you laughing. You got something else
Hey,
you
Come on,
got to say?
D.
it's a whole lot, but I can't say on here.
I know what's right.
Well,
Hey, I
just
know
leave
what's
the
right.
names out. Just leave the names out. Come on,
Hey,
D.
D over there
You
wilding.
you don't have to say that you knew. You can just say there was some musician that you knew, and just leave the names out.
D over there
Hey,
wilding.
hey,
No.
don't even go there, Schroeder.
I know Schroeder.
Be like,
That's why I keep my head down. That's why I keep.
Hmm.
That's why I keep it down.
Okay. Well, since D is trying to hold her tongue, I guess we'll move on to the next subject, which will be charging as a musician. How do you go about charging for a wedding, charging for a funeral, or what you are willing to accept as a church musician slash minister of music? Like I know Andrea spoke a little bit about her band a couple of weeks ago with that. So I'm gonna start off with Andrea. And then we'll just go around and see what everyone else's thoughts are. I'm just messing with Andrea tonight. Love you, Andrea.
It's all good. It's complicated because I operate within my band, and then I operate as a soloist, so I get different kinds of requests. If it's a request for my band, then it's one thing. If it's a request for me as a soloist, it's another thing. And then I get requests to do background vocals or session work sometimes. So it's different kinds of services that I provide. And then I get requests as a vocal instructor as well. So it depends on the service, what I'm charging. Example. So I think I talked about before with my band, the general rule for us, and it's not in stone, but the general rule is that when we get a request for an event, if the event is charging, then we charge a fee. And if the event is like an open event where it's free to the public or whatever, then we accept a love offering. And there's times where we've done gratis appearances as well. It just depends. We just take it by a situation by situation type of deal. As a soloist, some of the things I've done is weddings. Typically, I will charge $150 for a wedding, depending on the amount of songs I have to learn and do. One time I did a Catholic mass wedding. That's different from a typical wedding. A Catholic mass wedding, I'm singing from the beginning of the wedding to the end of the wedding.
Wow.
All kinds of things. That's going to be a higher charge. If I'm coming to like just a traditional wedding where I have to render 3 selections, then I would do like $150. And then another thing is, as an artist, you got to think, am I charging per song? Am I charging per hour? How do you want to divvy up? How do you want to be compensated for your time and services? That's something you have to decide. I do background work as a sessionist. So if I'm recording background vocals for someone who like did an original song, then I might say, okay, how many songs are we doing? If I'm doing one song and the session is going to be 3 hours, I would charge them no more than $75. So then I'm getting paid $25 an hour. If it's going to be an all-day session, or it's going to be a series of sessions where I have to come back and lay or stack or whatever, then I would probably charge per song. And if it goes beyond a certain amount of sessions, then I would charge hourly. So it's just, you have to think about what your expenses are and what kind of money you need to bring in for that service. You got to think about how far away is the engagement, how much gas am I going to be spending, what are going to be my food expenditures, how much time do I spend preparing for this event, do I need to buy materials or equipment to carry out this service. You have to take all of that into consideration when you are thinking of charging for things. And again, even as a soloist, there are things I show up and do for free. It's just based on my, it's based on my discretion. But definitely, and with vocal coaching as well, I coach voice. And if it's somebody under the age of 18, I'll give them a few sessions for free. And the reason why I do that is because I got a lot of free voice lessons growing up. I owe so many people I've had some wonderful, wonderful people pour into me their talents and their gifts. So a lot of times when I'm teaching young people, I will teach them for free, at least for a limited amount of time, to help them get on their feet, because voice lessons are expensive.
Yes, they are.
They are, and it's worth it because you're getting really valuable knowledge from a voice instructor. And there's a difference between voice teachers and voice coaches. So, I mean, you can have a vocal instructor and then you got to have a vocal coach. And that's 2 separate services with 2 separate charges. So whatever your services that you're offering, just make sure you divvy it up based on the work that you're doing, how much labor you're putting in, and then you decide what you want to charge for that.
Okay. Very good. Very well said. I like that. D, what's up?
What's up? Basically what Drea said, like Ron said, she sums everything up very well.
Extremely well.
Now, with me, if I'm doing it by myself, like with weddings or funerals or basically weddings and funerals and banquets and stuff, I just accept the love offering. If you want to give me something. DJing, I do charge like $150.
Okay.
Piano lessons, when I do $10 for 30 minutes. If you want more, then it's 20 for an hour. Now, if I'm with the group, as a group setting for weddings, it depends on how many people is in the group. That's how much we charge. So, like if it's 8 of us in there, we're gonna charge 800 because
Okay.
$100 per person that's in the group, and as well as banquet or family reunion. And the only reason why we do that is because if they want specific types of music, we have to learn it.
Right.
And get prepared for it. And like you said, Andrea, that how far is it? The distance that we have to go and stuff like that, because gas and all of that. And then and of course weddings and stuff. When you do that, make sure we sign a contract.
Yes.
You're gonna do that. Definitely sign a contract. If you a group and you want to, if you're doing a wedding, make sure that you get it in contract and how much that you got, because we did a wedding and he only gave us $200
I
for
remember you saying that before.
for an 8-member band, and they gave us
You get
$200.
$2. You get $2. You get two. But even that is better than New Edition's first check. But still,
But still, we drove like
New Edition's check
three and
was
a
a dollar
half
87.
hours.
It was like $1.87, and then they had to split that between 5 people.
So it was like three and a
Man.
half hours drive and
Oh wow.
$200. So yeah,
That's not even a
that
gas tank because you got to drive there and back. That's
right.
7 hours of driving. Three and a
Yeah.
half hours there, 3.5. So that's not even a full tank of gas. Man. Yeah, man, I
Yeah.
thought New Edition got burnt. Man.
Yeah, we got burnt big time. Big time. So
Wow.
we know next time everything we do it in a contract. We get a contract, especially for that wedding, anything, banquets, even a Valentine party. If it involves the group, get a contract. Especially if we charge it. If they charge for anything, we put it in contract.
Yeah.
Other than that, with funerals and stuff, like if I play for a church, that's included in my contract.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but now
If,
if
if
like
the funeral is at your church, you're saying.
if it was at my
Yeah,
church, yeah,
but if somebody asks you, hey, can you come to the funeral home and play at my uncle's funeral or something? Then
then
that's
it's more like a love offering. If
okay.
you want to give me something, fine. If not, I mean
Right.
that's cool. I'm just there to do it. Like I said, the Lord have always blessed me because I never charge. But it seemed like every time I left, they always gave me something.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
I'm just funerals. I don't think I've charged for a funeral. Maybe that's because typically the funerals I've sung at have been for people that I've known.
Right.
There may have been 1 or 2 funerals where I was just, I actually sang at a funeral for a baby, and I could not charge them.
Of course.
Yeah.
I get it.
I didn't know them, but I just couldn't
You
do
don't
it.
have to know them. You don't have to know them.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm,
Now
I
it's
don't
been a
think
lot of places I went. I had, I didn't get anything, and that was okay. If they asked me again, I would still do it again.
right.
Yeah, it can't always be about the money. You don't want to be
Right.
taken advantage of, but at the same time, we are given some type of responsibility with the music gift that we have. We are supposed to be able to use that to make a living, but sometimes we have to go beyond just looking
Yeah.
for the paycheck. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's just the type of gift that we have. So yeah,
Yeah.
it just is what it is. Some people don't understand it. Okay, I get it. You don't understand. Oh well.
Right.
Ron,
I think it's a matter of personal conviction, right?
Mhm.
If somebody says, "Look, I'm going to charge $50," I mean, typical. So like I would funeral. I'm typically appearing as a songstress. There's usually a musician there, and whether that funeral is at a funeral home or a church, you can rest assured that musician is getting some sort of fee. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, I'm not knocking people who take a fee. I'm just saying, me personally, I don't think I've taken a fee. I've gotten love offerings, but I mean, there may be
Right.
one funeral where I was like, oh, I'll do it for $50. You know what I'm saying? But I can't think of many funerals where I was like, this is my fee. I mean,
Right.
that's just me. That's one of the few situations where, you know, I just give my gift.
Yeah.
I just offer my gift, you know.
I just recently had to I just had to recently do that. This is since the school shut down. A lady that works at the school where I work, her brother passed away. Like our last day of work was probably like on that Friday or something. And then like on Tuesday, I got the phone calls saying, you know, she said her brother had just died. She could barely get it out. Cause all she was just like, Mr. Richard, oh my goodness, if I never need you now, I need you now. And I'm like, what in the world? And this person, I don't talk to this person on the phone like this. Like literally, you can count on one hand in 12 years how many times I've talked to her on the phone. Literally. So I'm just like, what's going on? And she said her brother passed. And then, you know, after she got through all that, she was like, okay, what's the charge? I just said whatever. That's all I said. I just said whatever. Now I wound up not having to do anything because all the restrictions that came down in Maryland with the virus or anything. But before all that had came down, she was asking what's your fee? I just said it's just whatever. That's all I said. I just said whatever. Because it's like, yeah, funeral situations. I guess I just get real, you know, I'm like, man, these, you know, somebody just lost somebody, you know, I guess, you know, and I'm just like, okay, just whatever. I didn't say you don't have to pay me. I just said whatever. I just said whatever you want to give is fine. And so I'm like that. I'm a softy too. When it comes to situations like that, I'm a big old softy too. So
it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
And it gives me joy to be able to offer my gift sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
It's a joyful experience just to say, God gave me this. I just want to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Be a blessing to you. It doesn't mean that you should never be paid, but I mean, you know in your heart when you're in a situation where you should offer your gift as simply a gift.
Right.
You know, we all got to make those decisions.
Right.
Yeah. Because God's gonna bless you at the end anyway. You know, he's gonna bless you, especially if you're doing it from your heart.
Right.
I mean, he's gonna bless you in some kind of way. It may not be money, but in some kind of way, you're gonna get a blessing.
Absolutely.
Right. Ron, what you have to say, man, on that accepting money for different situations? How you go about it?
Y'all pretty much summed up everything. A secular type of setting is a whole different situation for me.
Yeah, pay me. For real, for secular, no doubt.
A secular situation, hey, you know, here's what the fee is per person. I can tell you what irritates me in a secular type of setting. I hate it when I hear bands that will go into a club or any type of venue and they have 4 or 5 people and they accept $200. I hate that because that sets the bar so low for the next band that comes in because they think that, you know, they could pay the next band that, you know.
Right.
And also, let me tell y'all something on the secular setting. If a club tells you to come in and play that this is your audition, do not do that because they just trying to get a freebie out of you. do not do that.
This is an audition. Okay, yeah. And then they made $5,000, $10,000 that night from all because you're good music and everybody was buying it. And they go, you get you're right.
My thing is if you're in a band, at least always have some type of package that you can give the owners or the person that's hiring you. Have some type of package or have some type of footage up on YouTube because if they see that footage and they want you, you know, hey, now you got to pay me. You know, this is not a freebie. You've heard me, you've seen me. Here's word of mouth. You know, you got to pay me. You know, you just ain't gonna use me. And especially in them clubs and stuff, you deal with a lot. You deal with a lot of stuff. But I agree with everybody. Funerals, kids is always it's always the hardest. You know, kids is. That's the hardest. Then it all depends. If I knew the person, okay. But if I didn't know the person, I kind of, they kind of set money aside for that. The funeral home kind of sets aside money for, the musician,
They're supposed to, yeah, like the funeral home and all that. They're supposed to have that set aside. Because usually, if I'm at a funeral, I'm usually the musician. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
Andrea said that she's usually the vocalist when she's good, but usually for me, I'm the musician, and usually they're supposed to have something already set up. Especially if the person had some type of insurance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For
And
when their time came.
A lot of times,
and
funeral homes do pay for musicians. You can be hired on as a musician at a
oh
funeral
yeah,
home.
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
part of that payment that they receive when they
yeah,
charge for whatever they're going to charge to do the funeral for everything. Part of
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes is the musician fee, especially if you want to use the musician at the funeral home,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
has on staff or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah.
But the most important part. I mean, I agree with it. What everybody says. Just don't sell yourself short either, because remember, you do a lot of practicing on your own. You taking away, you got your time that you're using, your gas that you're spending. So kind of take some of that in account, also. Now, I wouldn't go into a church that's only got 25, 30 members and expect for them to, to pay me this large salary. If I'm in a situation like it, what can you pay me? What can you do? You know, but don't sell yourself short either, because
Right.
it's
It's real
I've
touchy.
done it a few times. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
But all of that comes with experience as you mature in this thing. Also, as
Oh
you
yeah.
mature, you get you get with the base salary off of it, and sometimes, just like I said, the Holy Spirit might lead it to your heart. You don't owe me anything, and it's
Mhm.
always good to give back. Also, that's always a good thing. But don't get abused in the process either.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel my help coming on.
Hey, Ron, you got a question from Mayoli, man. It's on the screen. And then he said that this could be for anybody on the panel, but he initially asked you first. I'll read it out loud for those that might be listening to this in the car or something. It says, "Hey Ron, what is a fair fee on average for a secular performance, and how do you base it? And then, for example, venue size, or is it affected by the number of performers in your band?" I guess we kind of went through this a little bit, but I guess he wanted a little bit more clarity, I'm assuming. And this is for
Yeah,
anyone in the panel, because then he said this question is for everyone on the panel. So go ahead.
I mean, he just said it right there. I mean, this the venue size. It's the size of your band. Me personally, if I'm taking a whole band in there, I'm wanting everybody to get. Well, it depends on the number of hours. I mean, if we're gonna do a 3 hour set, no less than 150 per person.
Right.
And sometimes 175. I want everybody to get what it is, because especially with a secular band, I think you spend more time practicing in a secular band than you do in church.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No
Yeah.
doubt.
So
Yeah.
so I mean, if you go into the club up the road, there's a hole in the wall. Sometimes they can't pay you, but you got to determine it. I don't know. Sometimes it depends on your safety also, because these clubs are not the safest also.
Mhm.
Especially these hole in the walls. I mean, for me personally, I'm done with the club scene. I'm just not gonna do it anymore.
Mhm.
But a banquet, family reunion, something like it, no problem. But I'm done with the club scene. These
Mhm.
young kids are crazy.
Yes, they are. And they be trying to twist it up for Jesus. So
Right.
or whatever we said earlier, bringing it, they taking it down for whatever they said. I forgot what we said earlier.
Drop it low for Jesus,
There you
right?
go, drop it low for
Yeah,
Jesus.
drop it low for
Right.
Which
And I'm sorry, not all young kids are crazy, but I don't know. For me, we just live in a different time. You know, it used to be cool to go out, have some fun. And you know, when you was going out, it was all about getting your dance on. You know, get a few drinks. You know, socialize. But now, you know, it turns into a whole different ball game there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so Ron, let me ask you, which somebody asked me, did you feel I guess some kind of way like you go to a club and play and then Sunday morning you're going into church and play?
Oh, okay. I see where she.
Yeah, you know what? I did at one point in time. I even had a church member that was in one of the clubs one time. She told me, I ain't gonna tell nobody you was playing in here.
You
And
out
I
there
told her,
playing that organ. She came to you at the end of service the next morning, didn't she?
look, and I told her, I said, well, I ain't gonna tell nobody that you was in here either.
Yeah. That was good. That was a good comeback.
But you know, for just a brief period. But you know, when this is your job, this is what you do. You know, this is just how you make your money. I may have felt some type of way about it, and it was only because I was letting somebody try to get in my head. But after a while, I mean, I'm totally comfortable with it. You know, God said it's okay. You know, it's okay. It's just like I said yesterday. It's all about the message. What message are you conveying? You know, I wasn't conveying. You know, I wasn't promoting sex or anything like that, or you know, anything wrong. But it's all about the message. No, I do not feel convicted when it comes to feeding my family.
There you go. There you go. You feel convicted if you go out and play and can't bring home any money.
Ain't that it?
Right.
Now that you feel convicted for that, you going out playing everywhere and you don't have nothing to bring home to support your family. Yeah.
You know, because I got told I was straddling the fence. You can't, you know, you out here doing this and then you going to church and doing this and you know, I was like, I got to make a living.
But you know, they say that, but the thing about it is the same people that are in the church, I mean, they're not churchy 24/7 also. I mean,
exactly.
They put on their church face on Sunday morning. So, I mean, they have a whole nother life that they lead also. So, you know, don't put the guilt. And that goes back, especially with our churches. We are so good at mentally abusing our people, and also financially abusing our people. You know, also we'll have them to believe that, you know, you ain't paying your tithes, you robbing from God, this and that, and then you know, it's just I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation how I feel about our churches, because we mentally abuse our people in so many ways that is just unreal. And a lot of people fall for it, but they fall for it because they don't read for themselves, they don't study for themselves, and they don't have a relationship. You know, ain't too much change. And it's so sad with our churches. And I'm sorry to go off on this.
No, you're good. You're good.
But it's so sad because here we have dealt with slavery, being abused by the slave masters and all of that. And then we got the pastors that come up that mentally abuse the people, you know, also. And it's just don't get me started on that.
No, go ahead, man.
I feel you. I feel you.
Let it out. Tell the truth, man. Tell the truth.
Right.
I feel you.
You have to study for yourself. And not only that, most importantly, you got to have a relationship for yourself. You know, it can't be what your grandmother went off of or what worked for your mother and all of that. You got to do what works for you. And a lot of times when you think that you're being convicted, you're not being convicted. It's just that somebody done got in your head and made you feel bad about what it is, you know, that they would have for you, you know. So it's not always that, you know.
Right. And I feel you. I mean, when it's time for me to serve the Lord, I do what I'm supposed to do. But then when I get out of that, it's time for something else. You know, I'm ready to do something else.
Yeah, and that's even as a gospel musician, people see you in that light, but for some people, I have to tell them there's much more to me than just this gospel thing here that you see. I like to do other things. I like other genres of music. I'm open to a whole lot of different things. I'm just not strictly, gospel.
Right. I mean, I had one came up to me. What you doing in here? And I looked. I said, "Well, what you doing in here?"
Right.
Right. Yeah. Every time someone tries to approach you that way, musicians out there always throw it back on the person.
That's right.
Like,
Right.
well, always throw it back. Always
Yes,
throw it back on them.
throw it back at them. Well, you in here, well, you in here too. So if you're gonna tell on me, tell on you too.
Well, I was in here because I was following you because the Lord told me I need to go see what you were up to. So what I did was I followed you, and that's the only reason why I'm here. And then that's when you look at them and say, "But you were in here before I even came in. You were here first.
But
So how did you follow me?" And you were in here
already. And you're so right. You know what? I've got a lot of musician friends that are Caucasian that play for church and also play in the clubs and play for all of that, but they never get that question like I get all the time. Everybody is just cool with what they do, but it's just something in our churches where they question us about it, but they never get questioned about that.
And when
never.
you say our church, you're talking about urban black churches.
Yes,
because you just got finished talking about like other Caucasians or whatever, other nationalities. I meant to say. So yeah, you're talking about the black church, right? We definitely, yeah. I just want to make sure everybody understood what you were saying. Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which leads to another, where like we had just talked about, Richard, about taking secular music and making it into gospel.
Mm-hmm.
It's somewhat like I think we had this discussion before. Would people be able to sing gospel and sing R&B on the side?
Right.
That
could be definitely a discussion topic too. How do you feel about people that sing both? They can. We just said R. Kelly wrote gospel songs for people, and we also know the type of songs he has. Some very sexual songs too. I'm not even talking about the stuff he did behind the scene. I'm talking about this musically. He had some sexual songs, and then he also wrote some "I Believe I Can Fly" type songs, and then he's also written some gospel songs. Well, what do we think about somebody who's dibbling and dabbling in that? We already see the situation with him,
right?
and now I am going beyond this.
I mean, that's just. I mean, again, I guess it's more to him than just the gospel music,
Right.
A whole lot more to him, but we're gonna leave that one alone.
Right.
So definitely leave that alone. But that is a good topic.
Yeah. Well, Sam Cooke started in church, didn't he? I mean, there's a few.
A lot of them did.
A lot of the old school R&B people also were gospel singers. That was not uncommon,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Yeah,
and they always say they started. Whenever they get interviewed, they always say they started at the church when they get interviewed.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we was talking about yesterday. I mean, gospel music is a combination of a bunch of genres of music: blues, jazz, classical, even.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's just a big melting pot of things. And so when people say, how you gonna bring this music into the church? But wait a minute, y'all had a problem when they was jazzing up "Glory, Glory, Hallelujah," what fellowship, you was throwing jazz chords in there. So I mean, yeah.
George, like we said that yesterday, Fannie Mae did not write that song to sound like that. That might be how
but
we play it, but that's not how she wrote it.
yeah, because I mean, a lot of people didn't take too well of Thomas
Right.
Dorsey. Also, you know, Thomas Dorsey was the godfather of music, but when he first
Right.
started, a lot of people didn't like him because of the background that he
Mhm.
came from. You know, also. Now, Thomas Dorsey, if he was alive, he might not like what we've been doing to Precious Lord.
Yeah, what we did to his music, exactly.
Right.
And he's the father of gospel music, right? Exactly. He'll wake up talking about, what kind of mess is this? I'm like, we'll be looking at him like, you should got some nerve to talk. Look at what you did. All we did was take your idea and expounded on it.
Hey, off topic. You know how Thomas Dorsey came up with Precious Lord?
Remind me. I know there's a story behind it, but I forgot it.
His wife was having their child, and his wife and baby ended up dying during childbirth, and that's how he wrote that song.
Right.
Yeah.
I did. That sounds familiar. You're right. That does sound familiar. Wow. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on. Let us stand. I am tired. I am weak. I am strong. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah.
And even it is well. I think
When
the
peace.
guy that wrote It Is Well, he ended up losing his family in like what a boat wreck or something like that. He lost his whole family,
Oh, that's
and
when
that's how he
peace.
came up with the song It Is Well.
Oh, when peace like a river attendeth my way, like sea billows roll. You know what? That whole first verse be talking about water and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense what you just said about a boating accident. Wow.
Yep.
I never heard that before, but wow, I can hear a connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I can tell anybody, church musicians, um, a lot of the younger church musicians don't like to learn their hymns. But
Right.
if you go back and you look at, you know, the background back, I promise you, you will appreciate it. Because I was one of them guys. I didn't like hymns, but once I learned the backstory, hey, I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. You got to learn the history of music and where it all start and come from.
Yep.
If you don't know your history, how will you be able to,
Exactly.
know your present
Exactly.
and do something great in the future? You got to know the origin. You got to know where you're coming from.
Yep.
Angela, I'm sorry. Hopefully she'll come back. But yes, I can tell you for sure she does give private lessons. Are you interested, Angela, in getting private lessons from Andrea? Because if so, I can maybe give her your email address. I know you've emailed me from Patreon before. You're on Patreon, so I can look on Patreon for your email address. If you would like, I can. Oh, there she goes. She's right here, actually. This Andrea right there. Andrea, you can talk to Angela Cortez. She wants to talk to you about lessons. Hop back. She said she's going to try to hop back on though. But okay. But yes, I do know for a fact that she does give lessons though. Voice lessons. Interested for her daughter. Okay. All right, Angela. Hopefully she sees your address. If she doesn't pop back on, then I'll definitely make sure she gets your email address. Okay. All right, we can get back to this. I just want because she asked that question several times. That's the only reason
Yeah,
why.
she did.
I said let me address that. But okay. But back to what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
Well, doing music, R&B and then gospel, because I know a lot of singers feel like some of them say that they feel convicted if they was to do gospel and then turn around and do R&B. And some musicians said they feel the same way. But
yeah.
me, I love it. I mean, hey.
I'm somebody that loves the Lord, but I love R&B love songs too. So of course
Right.
I'm going to come from from what I like. But my thing is, I don't think there's a real issue if I decided to put out, let's say put out an album, let's say, or a CD or project. Nowadays, it's just an MP3 album or whatever. I don't necessarily have a problem with that album having probably being half gospel music, half love songs. I wouldn't, because number one, if I'm writing the songs, then I already know the spirit behind the music anyway. Again, the Bible talks about love. The Song of Solomon is nothing. That whole book in the Bible that we have talks about love and romance and stuff like that. So if the Bible can talk about it, why can't we talk about it? Are we supposed to talk about it from a fornication standpoint and all that? Probably not. But just to talk about love or whatever, I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? So for me, no, if I was to put out an album, I probably wouldn't put out an album that goes, spread your legs and something, I probably wouldn't have lyrics like that. You know what I'm saying? But if I have a lyric about, maybe there was somebody who I have a big crush on, maybe it's just somebody I just can't cough up enough nerve to say, I like you or whatever, but I might want to just write a song. You know what I'm saying? Okay, what's wrong? What's sinful about that? Is there something sinful for me wanting, desiring somebody, but just don't have the guts to say it, and then I write a song about it? Is that a sin? I don't think it's, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying. So for me, if I was to put out a project, I think you would hear love songs as well as gospel stuff. So again, it goes with the spirit behind the music. But you got some people that have all kinds of songs on their album about everything, and then all of a sudden the last song on the album is a gospel song. I'm like, dude, but the song before this one, you just told somebody to bend over.
That was R. Kelly. He put that trade in my life.
Right. And then the next song is like, Lord, I
right.
You. That's what I'm saying.
That's straight R. Kelly with that trade in my life.
Hey, you're right about that, man.
It's like, yo, if your whole album got all that kind of
stuff. The last track was Trade My Life.
Talking about, I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. The Lord be. I don't know. It's like I said. It's
that's true.
Right. So it's always goes back to the spirit for me. That's what I'm saying. The intent and the
that's true.
Right.
That's just me, man. It's like I know it. It's like I'm sitting. The other crazy thing is when you see an artist win an award, and the first thing they say is, "I like to thank
God."
And I'm like, there's nothing on your album that remotely shows any type of relationship that you have with God. Not even remotely. You're talking about smoking weed, killing people. You're talking about doing you sleeping with 10 women at the same time. You doing all, and then all of a sudden, the first thing you say is, "I want to thank God." I'm like, well, maybe you're talking about a different God from the one I serve.
Yeah, man. I don't.
G.
I don't understand that either. That's always got me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, bend it over, girl. F that. Yeah, F that. Like, thank God, for making it happen.
Hey, but here's the craziest part for me: the people that clap for the person that says that,
Right.
At least he acknowledging God. Oh, right. Amen.
That's right.
I know he told that girl to perform fellatio on him and everything, but at least he thanked God before that song about fellatio on him. Yeah, pray the Lord, pray the Lord. At least
Yeah, that's always got me right there.
Yeah, they be like, then you're supposed to praise the Lord like that. You got to praise the Lord, I said you praise that
Lord.
Lord.
The Lord in your sin too, right? Okay. I'm not here sinning and I'm getting paid to do it. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. That's what you're saying. I'm like,
hey, but you know what? Even on that subject there, I wish that a lot of people will realize too, a lot of stuff that now maybe in the earlier times, maybe what people was rapping about may have been a true version of the life. But once you get money and all of that, and you get up out of the hood, you ain't living that lifestyle no more. And I wish that some of these young kids would see that these people do not live like this anymore.
Some of them never lived like it in the first place. Nowadays,
some of them never.
Some of them never even lived it in the first place.
But see, they also, a lot of these people kids don't understand either that a lot of these rappers have degrees, college degrees.
Yep.
Oh, what's
That's
his
very
name?
true.
Lil Wayne got a college degree.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
David Banner.
They said he was a nerd coming up.
And Plies. Y'all know Plies.
He actually, when he was like a young teenager, 13, 14 years old, he was actually hit by a bullet by mistake. And Lil Wayne, he was actually he was shot, I believe, the story that I heard, and he actually survived, but he wasn't in that lifestyle like that when he had got shot.
Oh, okay.
And he used to be one of my favorite rappers back in the day. Now I don't know what he's talking about. He's on that syrup.
There you go.
Sipping on the syrup.
Is that a song or something? Is that a song?
Yeah, sipping on the syrup.
Yeah, sipping on that syrup.
Alrighty then. Oh, get with that, y'all. Good night. No, I was playing.
Yeah, that's just. I don't know. I wished. I don't know. Some of the rap music is okay, I guess. I don't know. I stopped listening a long time ago, but I just wish that rappers would just do a better job of just, especially for our young Black kids, because our young Black kids look up to them so much, and I just wish that sometimes the message would be a little bit more different than what it is, and I just wish they would do more educating and teaching than, instead of, polluting, our people, and that's just me.
Andrea is asking a question. Is syrup lean? And can y'all tell me what lean is? This is something I just heard like a week or two ago for the first time. What is lean, first of all?
You just turning me on to something. I have no idea.
Yeah, I've been hearing this term about lean. And I'm like, well, what is lean? I mean, I thought lean was lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. That's what I thought. That's the only lean I know. So, but she was asking, is syrup supposed to be lean? I'm sorry, lean. I don't think we can answer it, Andre, because we don't even know what lean is. So,
maybe somebody in the chat can.
Hey, I just learned what a guy was talking about in the song I heard on the radio a couple years ago. He said, "Hit me in the DM." I was like, "What is the DM?"
The inbox.
Ron was like, "This ain't no download stuff now, is it?" This ain't no download.
And my wife told me that that's direct messaging.
Yeah, direct messaging.
I was like, "Oh."
In other words, it's a private message where it's just
right.
It's instant messaging. That's it between you. It's like texting, basically. It's no difference from you just texting somebody, and you just go.
I was like, man, I'm old.
Right. That's how I remember you saying your wife said that you're reaching up there in age and everything. She'll keep you young, man. Or at least she'll keep you informed.
I hope so. I don't know. Even she was like, I don't even know what they talking about. I think she had to ask her brother that's younger than her.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't.
Somebody said Fresh Sounds Florida said it's pure cough syrup. When they're talking about syrup, I guess drinking cough syrup to get a high, I guess.
Yeah, well, we know that.
I didn't know that.
We know that. Yeah, but what is lean though?
It says it's mixed with soda and drunk. I don't know about that. Then she said she got it. Okay. I didn't know what it meant before either. Yeah, and it says my nephew told me. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm learning. I'm definitely learning. See, piano tutorial man can learn too.
Hey,
Might
we
not be
must be
about music, but I'm
squares.
still learning.
Hey, we must be squares because I didn't know what lean meant.
Yeah, I don't know, or unless they're saying that's just what the word syrup means. I see. I don't even know if that's what they're saying. That the word syrup
No,
means all that, or if they're saying that's what lean is, syrup mixed with soda and drunk. I don't know
right.
what drunk is. I guess alcohol. I guess he means soda and alcohol.
Soda and drink.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know. I don't know, but
Excuse me for a minute, baby. I gotta go get my lean on.
hey, Quay, my co-host, this gay told you to do something, man. Get to work. Come on.
Man,
Yeah, I've been
play
seeing
some.
him sitting
I
there at
put
the
it on the
piano.
screen. Yeah, I put it on the screen for you. You got to do what my co-host has said. Even when she's not on the panel, she's still the co-host. Man, don't remember. You got to respect her.
I'll give it
All
like
right,
10
so
second break before
play a
y'all
little
give.
something. All right, and then
This
we'll probably be getting
is
off after this though. But go ahead,
this
man.
Anthony Hamilton, Her Heart.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. I had a habit of messing up, staying late, getting drunk. I let you down so many times, broken promises. It's like I ran away from you. I know it's been like you. Until I saw you, I must have tears. And she cried in my arms. I woke up young. And this time that was what I found in you. 'Cause her heart won't let me lose her. No matter how, this heart won't let me lose her.
Then you just like Andre, just be stopping all in the middle. We be all
Man,
in it, and then you just stop. Boom. Okay, that's it. Of
I
course,
just
she had
said
a
real
reason
quick.
because her
One
son
verse.
came in, but still.
Hey, Richard.
Yeah.
Like Mike said, the syrup will have you nodding off.
And
That's
then,
what you were
you
doing
mean like
Saturday.
I knew you was getting ready to do that. I knew you was getting ready to say that. For those of you who don't know, on Saturday, yes, I did
Yeah,
fall
you did.
asleep on the live stream. It's still online. I even I think I showed Sabrina because I don't think she had saw it when I fell asleep. I sent her the clip. It said there it is, and you gotta play it right, man. If you're gonna do it, you gotta play it right.
Hey, you know what? That was so funny when that guy you was playing the song and that guy said it's jazz sleepy time.
Yeah, that was his name was Mike A. I remember it wasn't the Mike that's usually on the panel with us. It was some dude named Mike A. And he was like, "It was this jazzy sleepy time."
And it was his first time on the show, and he
Right, it
got
was
you
his
up there
first time. Yeah, that was his first time on the thing. Hey, yo, man, go Quay. That was good though, man. We didn't get a chance to tell you that, man. Very nice, man. You say you only been playing for 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah.
2 years? Okay. Well, it doesn't sound like you only been playing for 2 years, man. That was
Oh,
great,
thank
man.
you. I appreciate
Hey,
it, man. Thank you.
I see where you're picking it up from jazz because not knowing the words and stuff.
Oh my
Because
goodness. Here we go. Here we go.
I was like, yeah.
Here we go.
You caught it. I love the song, but yeah, you're
I'm
right.
gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go
fumble
back
through it.
and listen because for some reason I can hear y'all, but I can't hear him. It happened to me last night
Oh, okay.
where I couldn't hear Brick.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs from him.
Okay. Well, Andrea said great job.
Thank you.
Angela says that was great.
Appreciate y'all.
Oh, you said thanks to Cool Breeze. That's Sabrina. Okay. And nice came from Brandy. Okay, so there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. With that, I think we're almost at the 3 hour mark, and we got to save some energy for Saturday. So we are D. knows a musician that has played for artists such as Luther Vandross? Well, what's some of the other artists he played for?
I can't remember them all, but he had played for Luther and Janet Jackson. I do know, and he was and is my music teacher.
Okay.
That taught me everything that I've known. The one that gave me the look when I asked him about
The
transpose.
transpose.
Yeah. And I asked him. I told him that we would like for him to come on, and he said he would be on here.
So we're looking forward to possibly having like a real keyboard player on this show finally. No, I'm sorry. But not somebody that's been able to play for the greats like Luther and all that, So hopefully that he said he'll do it, right?
Yeah, he said he would be on.
He'll be okay. Well, then
He
I'm
said he would
going
be
off.
gladly. I told him that we wanted to interview that y'all wanted to interview him and talk to
Okay.
him and get his perspective on things and ask questions. And he said he would be glad to do it.
Okay, well, we're going to take D's word for it. D, definitely make sure that you give him my email address so that I can make sure that I email him the link, and I can get a chance to talk to him beforehand. And
Okay.
so hopefully Saturday, we're going to be able to get a nice little interview with somebody that's been out there, that's toured the world professionally, and just get some insight where the rest of us are just students. You know what I'm saying? And
You
we
got
can
that
learn.
right.
That's going to be real good. And of course, there'll be some other topics or whatever. So y'all know my producer always got me laced up with different topics. That's a brainer, you know what I'm saying? So
112 DZ.
yeah, what's going on, 112? I haven't even seen you.
112, what up?
It's been a minute. What's up?
Oh, we can hear you too. Okay, well, listen, Charlie, with the deep voice. It's been a minute. What's up? Yeah,
Dude, that's my favorite bass player right there.
That's bass from Boys to Men.
You the man, yo.
No, that's my favorite bass player.
I just need to find me a left-handed bass guitar. I can't find none around this mug. I'm gonna get on Guitar Center.
Once y'all these are like, yeah, I'm just trying to be sexy right here. I'm talking real low so I can just be sexy and I'll take good care of you.
What you saying, 112? I can't hear what he was saying.
Going back, remember that night I would not stop singing that. I kept singing that over it. I just love that part by Barry White, man. When he comes, for those of you who don't know what song I'm talking about The Secret Garden. Quincy Jones, y'all know when Barry White comes in. I'll take good care. Go one time. You got the bass voice. Hey, Netson, man, what's going on, man?
And what was you saying before Jazz kept interrupting?
Be quiet, D. Go ahead. Let's let's hear that Barry White part, man. Now you all quiet now. He might be having.
I just don't really know that well.
What you say?
I just don't really know that part that well.
Oh, it's not that many words. I'll take good care of you. That's what a man's supposed to do. Go ahead, come on. That's what a man is supposed to do. Come on, you gotta sing it, man. Don't be getting all nervous, coming up on here trying to talk all sexy, and then you don't want to sing, man. Come on. You should know I put you on the spot, man. You should know how I work by now, how I operate. I'll take good care of you. That's what a man is supposed to do. And I'll be there for you all the time. Let your head down. Let me get you in the mood. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Take me with you here in the garden, where temptation feels so right. Passion can make you fall for what you feel. Come on, 112, you got it, man.
Oh Lord.
The man can't talk. Y'all keep interrupting him.
Hold on, let me sing it one more time so that he knows how it goes again. It goes like this, okay? It goes like this, 112. I'll take good care. I love this part, man. I don't know. It's something about when Barry White comes in with that.
Yeah, he does. He set that mood right
That's
there.
what a man's
Right,
supposed to do.
Yeah, I just keep rewind. I will always like rewind just his part. There's nobody else's part. Elder Barge, James Ingram, LV Shaw. I don't rewind any of their parts. The only part I keep rewinding, I'll take good care. That's what a man is supposed to do. I'll be there for you all the time. Let your head down. Let me get you in the mood. Come on,
Hey,
come
man.
on, come on, come on. Take me with you here in the garden, where temptation feels so right. Passion can make you fall for what you feel. Woo! Let me stop. One more time, 112 DZ. This is how the part goes. No, I'm not.
Hey,
Very
man,
white.
you
Good.
Anybody
silly.
want to learn how to
know
play the
Melvin
song? I
Franklin.
do have a tutorial. Just type in The Secret Garden and type in House of Jazz next to it. It'll come. I do have a tutorial on how to play it.
Crazy.
But you're not gonna sing it for us, 112 DZ, man?
I love Barry White, but he ain't no Melvin Franklin.
Okay.
Ooh.
I didn't say he was Melvin Franklin. I just said, can you sing the daggone? Okay, if you want to do Melvin Franklin, if you want to sing Melvin Franklin, then sing his part on "I Can't Get Next to You." So you got
I knew you were gonna say
I
that.
can turn the gray sky blue, and then you come in. I can make it rain whenever I want it to. All right, you got it, 112. You got it.
You gonna go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna go first. Here we go. I can turn the gray sky blue.
I can make it rain whenever I wanted to.
I can turn a castle to a single grain of sand. I can make a ship sail on dry land. Oh, baby. But my life is incomplete and I'm so blue because I can't get next to you. Okay. All right. And with that, hopefully that sent y'all off laughing because I'm just being silly now. But
Get that right.
Old
Hey, I
song.
appreciate it. I appreciate everybody. And I got to get my butt out of here. I got to get up.
Oh, yeah. No, we are about to sign up, but it's all good, man. I appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Sabrina. Sabrina talking about, you know what, Sabrina, you need to come back on here because you missed us last Saturday. You're supposed to be playing that song, throwing that A major chord in there. I told you A major works. She needs to come
she ain't
on
been back
A
on
major
since
is
then, for real.
I know until
Since she said
tonight.
A
She
major.
wasn't sitting in front of the piano tonight. She wasn't even in front of the piano tonight. But hopefully we'll get her in front of the piano Saturday. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, talking about that A major chord. We still waiting on that song. We ain't gonna let you off the hook on that one. But anyway, all right. So YouTube out there, man, definitely appreciate y'all joining us tonight again. Saturday, hopefully we will have a special guest. What is the gentleman's name? I'm sorry.
Eric Poole.
Eric Poole, Pool.
Poole.
Le. Okay, Eric Poole. So come back. We can all be students on this Saturday and be able to pick his brain and probably get some techniques from him or whatever. So okay. Now Sabrina says see y'all then. So hopefully she'll be on here and she won't be having to slip off on us. You know what I'm saying? She gonna throw that A major chord. Whatever those chords are, we're gonna go back to whatever that week was, whatever those chords are, and she's gonna show us how to put that A major chord in there. All right. So stay tuned for Eric Poole. And also my lovely co-host is going to show us how A major works and everything. And she's going to also talk to Eric Poole about how A major works and everything. So warn him, D.
I can't wait for that show.
that the co-host of this live stream wants to put A major and everything. Okay, so it should be good.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. So again, so 7:00 Eastern Standard Time Saturday, y'all. Join us then. For now, peace.
Peace.